gotta love it. Golden nuggets now, pass the chicken. Finger licking, counting money till they stop the printing. Even if they stop the printing, you see my spot cemented like the city blocks cemented. Yeah, my soul is minted, yours counterfeited. I'm way more committed, forever counterculture. Too alive for vultures. It's like hot tea, cold water. Shit is way too out of order. Hot tea, cold water. Shit is way too out of order. We gotta protect sons, protect daughters. Hot tea, cold water. Too often I've seen the selfish side of things. People take pride in making nightmares of your dreams. So it seems that there are no in-betweens. Draw a line in the sand, hold it down the best you can as a man. Life's much more than getting loot, or a boot you can toot, or a gun you can shoot. To the real I salute, always leading with the truth. However far we got a truth, we rip the evil from the root. I ain't trying to be cute, I ain't dying to be cute. I need to know who invested in my town, going big root. Major damage of J-Root, meaning we gon' damage you. Hidden hand, anyone with a mind can see it's true. Take my lyrics as a clue. I know you know what to do, and with time, I know that you will find that it's in you. Hot tea, cold water. See my spot cemented like a city block cemented. My soul is minted, yours counterfeit. Yeah. Skidda from the bledda. Enlighten. Hot tea, cold water. Shit is way too out of order. It's like hot tea, cold water. Shit is way too out of order. Protect sons, protect daughters. It's like hot tea, cold water. Check this out, man. Nowadays, everybody got mob ties. Why do we wanna be tied to the mob? They send slugs to their people, they send drugs to our people. Is this why we wanna be equal? It's getting cloudy, I'm just piercing the fog. That's word to Yafa Bay. I can smell a phony Tony from a block away. I'm so focused. They so bogus, they so bogus. We serve notice that there's evictions coming. You've been afflicted with a sickness, ain't no sense in running. Stand and face your judgment, fuck you and your budget. You can hate it, but you gotta love it. Golden nuggets now, pass the chicken. Finger licking, counting money till they stop the printing. Even if they stop the printing, you see my spot cemented like a city block cemented. Yeah, my soul is minted, yours counterfeited. I'm way more committed, forever counterculture. Too alive for vultures. It's like hot tea, cold water. Shit is way too out of order. Hot tea, cold water. Shit is way too out of order.
Check, yeah.
We gotta protect sons, protect
10
daughters.
minutes before we go on.
Hot tea, cold water. Too often I've seen the selfish side of things. People take pride in making nightmares of your dreams. So it seems that there are no in-betweens. Draw a line in the sand, hold it down the best you can as a man. Life's much more than getting loot, or a boot you can toot, or a gun you can shoot. To the real I salute, always leading with the truth. However far we got a troop, we rip the evil from the root. I ain't trying to be cute, I ain't dying to be cute. I need to know who invested in my town, going Beirut. Major damage of J-Root, meaning we gon' damage you. Hidden hand, anyone with a mind can see it's true. Take my lyrics as a clue, I know you know what to do. And with time, I know that you will find that it's in you. Hot tea, cold water. See my spot cemented like a city block cemented. My soul is minted, yours counterfeit. Yeah. Skidda from the bledda. Enlighten. Hot tea, cold water. Shit is way too out of order. It's like hot tea, cold water. Shit is way too out of order. Protect sons, protect daughters. It's like hot tea, cold water. Check this out, man. Nowadays, everybody got mob ties.
We in the house
Why
about
do we
9
wanna
minutes
be
before we go
tied
on.
to the mob? They send slugs to their people, they send drugs to our people. Is this why we wanna be equal? It's getting cloudy, I'm just piercing the fog. That's word to Yafa Bay. I can smell a phony Tony from a block away. I'm so focused, I'm so focused. They so bogus, they so bogus. We serve notice that there's evictions coming. You've been afflicted with a sickness, ain't no sense in running. Stand and face your judgment. Fuck you and your budget. You can hate it, but you gotta love it. Golden nuggets now, pass the chicken. Finger licking, counting money till they stop the printing. Even if they stop the printing, you see my spot cemented like a city block cemented. Yeah, my soul is minted, yours counterfeited. I'm way more committed, forever counterculture. Too alive for vultures. It's like hot tea, cold water. Shit's way too out of order. Hot tea, cold water. Shit is way too out of order. We gotta protect sons, protect daughters. Hot tea, cold water. Too often I've seen the selfish side of things. People take pride in making nightmares of your dreams. So it seems that there are no in-betweens. Draw a line in the sand, hold it down the best you can. As a man, life's much more than getting loot, or a boot you can toot, or a gun you can shoot.
Check.
My soul is mented. Enlighten.
Yep.
Enlighten.
Boardwalk Global Media Boardwalk Global Media in the building. Big shout to Maria Davis and the WOMACK.
Shit is way too out of order. It's like hot tea, cold water. Shit is way too out of order. Protect sons, protect daughters. It's like mob. They send slugs to their people, they send drugs to our people. Is this why we wanna be equal? It's getting cloudy, I'm just piercing the fog. That's word to Yafa Bay. I can smell a phony Tony from a block away. I'm so focused, I'm so focused. They so bogus, they so bogus. We serve notice that there's evictions coming. You've been afflicted with a sickness, ain't no sense in running. Stand and face your judgment, fuck you and your budget. You can hate it, but you gotta love it. Golden nuggets now, pass the chicken. Finger licking, counting money till they stop the printing. Even if they stop the printing, you see my spot cemented like a city block cemented. Yeah, my soul is minted, yours counterfeited. I'm way more committed, forever counterculture.
You can check my scars. Wanna understand life? Get behind these bars. You should never take it easy when it might seem hard. And I ain't come this far just to come this far. With every one of my Flaws, I feel perfect. When you take a loss, you develop a hard surface.
Yeah.
When you finally win in the end, it was all worth it.
Said I learned by heart, no Googles or YouTube. Stepped on colored tops during recess, drinking Yoo-Hoos while passing the rock. They was passing them rocks. I was hooping, but the dudes that smoked used to hoop too. Thinking life focus up young, or that could be you. Boy had a shot, now shooting up what he used to. I played chess, move like fresh, not what they used to. A lot of pride hid them stamps when I brought food, growing pains. This here for the have-nots, that'll have you in some knots. In order to have knots, either you part of the plot or we digging your plot. Think fast, cause what we pull up with, shaking the block. My bro fighting depression, plus sick as hell, he's sick as hell. Still getting knocked, he's sick as cells, but sick with cells. Still had guap when he got popped. He hit it well, we wished him well, then boy came home, brought another scale. The winning circle about as small as a dot, period. I keep my circle about as small as a dot. If they ain't making what you making, then they making it hot. Furthermore, I need furthermore, whatever's more than a lot. Let's go.
Made it through the war, you could check my scars. Wanna understand life? Get behind these bars. You should never take it easy when it might seem hard. And I ain't come this far just to come this far.
I'm still stamped.
Gotta learn how to smile when you still hurt.
It's okay.
With every one of my flaws, I feel perfect. When you take a loss, you develop a hard surface. When you finally win in the end, it was all worth it. He ain't see the big picture, so they made him a mural. When you ballin', gotta get around the hate with the euro. Even though I'm from the city, need a place that's rural. Get the house before the whip and then grind till it's plural. If you talking big spenders, then I'm mentioning Brenda. With the last name Walker, no relation to Kimber. See, we was getting money as long as I can remember. Still spending old bucks, you know, Lou Alcindor. I used to open doors, Alicia with the keys. Bunch of people that I feed, plus I got a couple seeds. I'm so against ratting, hate it like a disease. The kids don't understand why they never seen Chuck E. Cheese. Ambition of a hustler, I wanna succeed. Living for the moment, cause nothing is guaranteed. I call it a blessing, others call it greed. I got everything I want, but I never got what I need. Playing with your life, that's a hell of a wager. You should never pay attention to gossip and stack paper. Too busy trying to get a few acres for every hater. I'm getting to it, 24/8 like the greatest Laker. Made it through the war, you could check my scars. Wanna understand life? Get behind these bars. You should never take it easy when it might seem hard. And I ain't come this far just to come this far. Gotta learn how to smile when you still hurting. With every one of my flaws, I feel perfect. When you take a loss, you develop a hard surface. When you finally win in the end, it was all worth it.
Yeah, we're giving you a chance to share the show. ROCKLOGIC's in the building. Maria Davis is in the building. DENEEN WOMACK is on the way. Let me get a mic check, Maria.
I is here. I is here.
Yes, indeed. She's in the house. So we're just sharing the show. And guys, make sure that you share the show. It's very important. So if you tuned in through Zoom or you tuned in through Facebook, Make sure you share the show to your friends. Let us know that they're out there. Also, those of you who are watching on YouTube, drop us a line on the YouTube, please.
Yes, please.
Just say hi, hey, yo. Don't just troll out.
Don't say bye.
Don't say bye. Yeah, bye's no good.
At all.
And we've hit the... Yeah, okay. We're going like that today, are we? All right. Yep. And one more time. Because we're still sharing the show.
Shout out to Daphne. Hey, Daphne, my sister from Connecticut.
What's up, Daph? Oh, is that Daphne from Connecticut? Light-skinned Daphne?
Yeah, you know Daphne.
Yes, Daphne Burnett.
Right. Who don't know Daphne Burnett?
Word up, big shout out to Daphne Burnett. Lynette Choice, we see you. Excellent day, pay the rent day. Yeah, one more go around and then we're going to start the show.
Whose music is this? Some art techno? People still listen to techno music? Hey, Lynette. Hey, Aisha. Who else you said is on here? I can't see from here. I don't have my distant glasses on.
So in the chat room, in the Zoom, we got Coffee B, McGee, Lynette.
Oh, that's Coffee that who's celebrating her birthday and got the 5,000 artists performing on Wednesday, May 18th.
Ah, that's the big night.
Lynette, I need you back at 1 Corinthian Baptist Church. We did the mammogram van yesterday after 2.5 years. 17 people got mammograms yesterday. Probably would have did more.
All right. Once again, this is the Can't Be Silenced podcast with Maria Davis. We do this every Monday from 5 to 7 is when we get down and we do that. Right now in New York City, it's cloudy, it's 54 degrees, and it is definitely raining outside. This is not spring weather. This is not what we expected for May. Those of y'all coming across the Tri-Borough, it wasn't too bad. Just a little bit backed up. Also probably weather related, and they're doing some work on one of the roadways. Just to give you all a heads up. Steinway Street is crowded, but parking is good.
Why? Why is parking good? Because today is
the end of Ramadan.
Well, you know something? For some people, so I learned that it's when some people, whatever the moon is on a certain day, that's when they started. But it's another group that had to look for the moon to see if the moon was out.
So if the moon isn't out, then what happens?
They wait for the, if I'm saying that right, we're gonna ask Aisha. But there's 2 sets of dates.
Okay.
One practice is the date of them seeing the moon or predicting the moon.
Right.
Well, one is prediction and one is seeing.
Okay.
So if I said that
if they're looking for the moon tonight, then Ramadan for them continues. Would that be accurate?
No, it's whenever their start day was, that's when their end day is.
Gotcha.
So if you started, I think the beginning, you end today. But there was another group of people that started that next weekend.
So they got another few days to go.
I got that from Brother Talib and them from the Malcolm X Mosque on 116th Street.
Oh, well, that sounds like a reliable source to me.
But we're going to ask Sister Aisha, too, because she's of the Islamic faith.
Absolutely, and I'm going to make sure that I monitor the systems for the Zoom room because I know people keep popping in the Zoom and I don't want to forget them.
And DENEEN is on her way.
And DENEEN is en route, which is awesome. So we love that. DENEEN's on her way. And this is what's going on. So Maria, how's your week been? What you been up to? What's going on?
17 mammograms on Sunday. And you know, I have my black African American expressions, black gifts that I am now partner affiliate. Okay. And between the breast mammogram and me telling people to get their breast exam to, how much is this pocketbook, miss? So I was between the pocketbooks and the black gifts and the mammogram.
So you were selling pocketbooks, mammogramming, and okay.
Mammogramming, yes, and signing them up for AIDS Walk New York, which is on Sunday, May 15th.
Yeah. That's coming up, the AIDS Walk. Is it something on the 6th that's coming up, or is it the 15th?
It's the 15th.
The 15th is the day. Yeah, they were talking about that the other day on 1010 Wins.
So I need people to make a donation. I'm gonna be at people real hard to buy some gifts, or no, I want that to be separate.
You got to make separate. Yeah.
Because
are you going to do AIDS Walk? Or you going to do the gift?
Right. No. I want them to still buy something out of the magazine.
Okay.
Regardless of if they make a donation to the AIDS Walk.
Got you.
No, we multitask. We got money. We just be acting like they don't have no money with me.
Act like, yeah.
We gonna clear that up. We gonna clear that up.
Well,
we gonna clear that up.
When they see the red box, they know they got to give up the dough.
It's so funny. Yesterday I had it on the table because I had all the mammogram stuff, pamphlets on the table. And so I didn't expect to get no donations. And people started putting donation in the box. I said, okay, I'm going to take it. Let's accept it.
Nah, the box is powerful. like you see the box, you know, I'm supposed to put money in that box. You know what I'm saying? The box is as famous as you are.
But you know what's crazy? Right. Somebody said if they ever see that red box in somebody else's hand, they're going to beat them down.
Absolutely, because we know that's your box.
And listen, when I leave this earth to get out of my homecoming, you have to make a donation.
Okay.
And that money will go to some kind of AIDS, HIV organization.
Yeah, they're going to put that box in the Smithsonian. Watch.
Or it might be in the African American History Museum.
That's right. I'm trying to tell you.
Maria Davis red box.
Word. I'm telling you, that box has got credibility right now.
And now what we want to talk about too is make sure that if you are not vaccinated, because we understand there are some people that are not vaccinated.
Right.
And if you are vaccinated, please wear your mask.
Yeah.
The numbers, we have now turned to a medium in New York. So they just did a news conference. You know, Eric Adams busted the program up and got up there saying, it's nothing to be alarmed. No, it is to be alarmed because I don't want COVID. Mm-hmm. And I don't want no long-hauling health problems behind it.
Right.
So if you have not gotten your vaccine, please get your vaccine. They're still available.
Right.
And if you don't want the vaccine, at least make sure you're eating healthy, drinking water, exercising.
Taking care of
yourself. And wear your mask. The virus is not over. It's here. This virus is here with us for a lifetime. It's gonna be. It's like the flu now.
They say we gotta learn to live with it.
Right. You're gonna have high peaks like we have high peaks of the flu. Now they talking about they saw the bird flu somewhere. I was like, Lord have mercy.
Yeah, geez, okay.
We don't need no more bird, nothing. We don't need no monkey flu. We don't need no other people flu.
Right, gorilla grip flu.
Right.
It's been ridiculous. It's been ridiculous. I'm tired.
Gorilla grip flu. So did you go to K Slay's? Because we were supposed to be on last Monday, but we weren't. Did you go to K Slay's? No,
I didn't go to the viewing.
Right, because you was with me.
Yes, I was. So I did not go to K-State's viewing because we were having your very first day party
on that Sunday, and I could not get up on Monday.
That's right. Me either. I was so glad you canceled. I was like, thank God.
We didn't cancel. We postponed.
Yes, we postponed, and
we played a repeat.
Because you know what happened? That week was kind of a big week because we did Mad Wednesdays. Then we went to Ahmed Rodriguez thing, right? So then I came in and did the show on Friday and worked Saturday. So we had been going really every day. Yeah. So and then you stayed at the day party and stayed for the comedy, right?
And it was excellent.
Yeah, I heard it was actually very funny.
It was excellent. Gerald Kelly, shout out to Gerald Kelly.
Big shout out to Gerald.
He was on. Oh my gosh. And then it's this MTA guy. I have to get his name. I think he's out of Baltimore. Oh my God. All he did was tell MTA jokes. Hilarious.
And he works for the MTA.
And works for the MTA.
That's actually hilarious into
Oh
itself.
my gosh, he talked about all the situations. See, that's why T.I. need to talk to him. Because T.I. got booed because he has lots of material, but he doesn't have anybody writing for him. He needs to find a writer, and he needs to talk about all his oops in his music industry.
Right.
You know, his infidelity in the relationship. He could turn all that around and make it funny.
Yeah, you got to talk about what you know.
Right.
If you're going to be a comedian, you got to just talk about what you know and live it. Right. So if he's an MTA guy, he's got, listen, the MTA into itself is funny. You know what I'm saying? If you really like look at the situation. So, and he's just taking something that I'm sure they all laugh about.
Gosh.
And
Hilarious.
it's just comedy. That's dope. What's his name? Do you remember his name?
I don't, but I'm going to get it before the end of the show.
Big shout out to the MTA guy. We like that.
I'm going to call, hopefully Nikki comes on, and then I can ask Nikki about, what's the gentleman's name? He was so good.
And
They're honoring Principal Shine
oh, where?
at the Brooklyn Children's Museum. Guess what day?
What day?
Saturday, June 11th.
Oh, you got that thing.
And I'll be hosting in Newark for Gail Campbell for her new album release. Hey, Tashana.
Hey, Miss
Tashana's birthday's tomorrow. We were celebrating yesterday at Fumo's. We had a good old time.
I don't know how you do. How do you go out all the time?
I do not know neither.
I don't know how you do. I ain't got that kind of energy. I'm just going to tell you the truth.
I'm going to tell you, Heart Smart helped me too.
Was it the diet?
The walking.
Gave you more energy?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. You drinking all that water?
Uh-huh.
You're not supposed to be eating certain things, which I had something today, but I'm not going to talk about it. But,
right.
You know.
Well, I think if you do more of the workout and less of the cheating.
Right.
You know, balance, right?
No eating after 7 p.m.
Okay.
You should not be eating. Nobody, especially people that have serious health disparities. You should not be eating after a certain time because the problem is between our gut and our core.
Correct.
If your core is not strong, forget it. Your body's not going to function because the core controls every part of the body.
Right.
Standing up straight, your core. Sit-ups, core.
Right.
Pulling yourself up. Like I'm trying to work on the pull-up bar. I can't pull myself up because I can't get my core to get tight.
Right.
So that's what I'm focusing on, core and my gut. Gut health. So Heart Smart, we're reading a book called Fiber Fuel, telling you how to change. We're going to change our diet for 4 weeks and focus on things that fiber that fuel our gut. And so if you have a leaky gut, that'll help heal your leaky gut because the gut leaks into your system, your blood system, and into your other body parts, causing inflammation.
Right.
And this is why we have arthritis, rheumatoid arthritis. I'm not saying you not going to get it, but if you start working on your health, even if you do get it, you'll be in a better situation than your body just falling apart.
Right.
Your body's able to fight back.
Right.
And that's the same thing for immune system, making sure your T cells are right. With HIV, make sure you U equals U, undetectable, means that you can't spread the virus. And so that means you have to take care of yourself.
Right.
You know, sugar, cholesterol, keep it down. We have to do these things. And we have to dedicate ourselves. The way we dedicate ourselves to our work, we need to be dedicating ourselves to our health also.
You know what? You know, you gotta do that. So, what do you got going on today? What's today's show about?
We got a very...
You seemed pretty hyped up about it earlier.
Yes, we got very special sister, Aisha Sekou. DENEEN is not here with her bio yet, so we're going to slow it down. But I can start. I
think I might have it.
She sent you the bio?
Yeah, hold on. Let me check. Hold on. I'll tell you right now. You know,
she might have sent it to me, too.
Yeah, let me check. I'm gonna look right here.
I love how DENEEN writes.
Yeah, she definitely, she's dope. And then how she reads it.
And then, wait, Allison Williams had her send her the bio that she did for her.
Oh, did she?
Yeah.
Because it's very good. Yeah, I have it right here. I actually have the bio. All right. It just, see, I know reading it, I'm gonna butcher it.
Oh.
That's the only problem. But I do have it right here.
She did send it.
Yeah. You want to read it off your phone?
Why, you scared to read it?
Yeah, I'm terrible. Like I just, you know.
Okay.
Not that I can't read or anything.
This is about our guest. We already talked about all the stuff. What's in the news? Aisha Sekou is the founder and CEO of Street Corner Resources in Harlem. a non-for-profit organization that aims to decrease gun violence in the neighborhood. In 2005, Aisha, a long-standing community activist, decided to start a non-for-profit organization that would engage youth and provide them with the resources to help them develop holistically and serve as a positive alternate against the ongoing trend towards violence in urban neighborhoods. Street Corner Resources was born out of a concern over gun violence and gang activity amongst Harlem youth. Since its inception, Street Corner Resources has lived up to its name by providing multiple resources to the community youth. Street Corner Resources, abbreviated as SCR, activities include workshops, a very active street presence, and the installation of First I Am Peace music studio located within a Harlem high school. Street Corner Resources' most recent initiative is the Cure Violence Program in Central Harlem. In addition, they offer professional mental health services, employment and education services, legal aid, and other supportive and wraparound services. Street Corner Resources history continues to be written as Aisha Sekou and her SCR team endeavored to bring peace and improvement to our neighborhoods. 2 years ago, Aisha coordinated a group of young people from her organization to help paint Black Lives Matter in 5 different locations in New York City, including in front of the Trump building. I remember that. That was a lot. I love that.
Legal graffiti.
Each kid wore a yellow T-shirt with the words "I am peace" on the front and the Black Lives Matter on the back. The 60-something-year-old grandmother states, "We just are encouraging peace all across, not just the city, not just the country, but across the world." The veteran of the civil rights movement continues, "We are all moving together to create peace and hopefully a better world."
Damn. She strikes again.
Yes, and that ain't even about where she grew up, because I want to ask her that. Where she grew up.
Right.
What inspired her? Did she have these, thoughts and ideas when she was young, attending junior high school and high school? So I want to get to hear some of that of Aisha Sekou.
Yeah, that is why. First of all, great. Big shout out to DENEEN for writing that. That's great.
Yes, oh my God, DENEEN is a great writer.
Yeah, she's really good at that.
Is Aisha here?
I don't know if she's here yet. Is she here yet? I don't know. Let me see.
It must have been, because you said you saw her.
Yeah.
All she had to do on the music.
I thought so. Oh, yeah. I don't know. She's not here. Where's she at?
Oh, my aunt Dorothy Smith is on here.
Yeah, big shout out to Dorothy.
I think Aunt Dorothy lives in Cincinnati, Ohio, I think.
And you had Daphne Burnett, or is she in your room?
Yes.
Who's that?
That's my Aunt Dorothy.
Aunt Dorothy. Dorothy Smith. Oh, we can't get Dorothy on the line. And who's Coffee Beat? Was that the birthday girl?
That's Tamika.
Oh, okay. Big shout out to Tamika.
Yes.
What's happening?
Tamika birthday coming up soon.
Right. Ah, there you go. Guess who's in? Drum roll, please.
Aisha Sekou.
Aisha Sekou. Hold on, she can't miss the dope intro. Hold on, wait, where's she at?
Don't wait for her to come on.
Yeah, wait for she's punching in right now. She came in right on time too. She just missed the intro. Aisha.
Peace and blessings.
Hold on. You missed it. First of all, we read the whole bio already.
That's all right.
Oh, it was fantastic. And hold on, we got to give you the intro. Aisha Sekou. Yeah. Boom.
So I didn't have to sit through my own bio.
No, you did not.
Oh, that's why you didn't come on, huh?
No. I am actually, so we were supposed to be on last week. And when we said we rescheduled for this Monday, just so folks know, I said, okay, without thinking that it's the Eid celebration, which is, because I'm Muslim, it's the celebration of the end of the fast.
Yes.
And so I'm in another state, but I was in New York this morning, and I already had some plans, but I keep my commitments.
Okay.
And so here I am keeping my commitment. So I could be on for a little bit with you guys. And I wanted to make sure that, I was true to what I said I would do.
Aisha, so tell us, because some people said Ramadan doesn't end for them today because of the moon.
Yeah, well, the moon was sighted, but, it's always a little bit of a difference depending on when people started to fast.
Yeah, that's what I told Rock.
Right. And so it's a 30-day fast. And so some people started on, I think it was the second.
Right,
some
right.
people started on the third. Some people started on the first. So usually there's a differential between 3 days, but it's okay. We're all Muslim. We're all celebrating the end of the fast. The most important thing, though, is that we try to end on time, but that we keep the spirit of the fast beyond the fast. It's not just do those 30 days and fast, and then we lose the spirit of the fast, right? So it's more about how do we stay in tune with the same spirit and energy that most folks have when they fast. Fasting is not an easy thing. And once you put your time into the fast, there are things that begin to change, right? Your way of being, your attitude, all of those things. So what is expected, that is being Muslim, that the charity that you give, the demeanor that you carry, that you try to carry that same spirit throughout the year. So that's the thinking with it. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
So we're just ending up the fast.
So wait,
I have on my team, I have about 5 Muslims on staff, and I have about 8 young people, maybe 10, that are also Muslim that have also been fasting. So we closed the office today. Everybody celebrates.
So I got a question about the fast. Is it,
Yes.
do you eat, is it that you eat after sundown, or do you guys just kind of fast through the day?
Right. So you can eat before the sun comes up, before there's light in the sky. And then when the sun goes down, you break your fast, you make a prayer, and then you eat. Okay. That's usually how it goes. But the idea is not to overeat just because you fasted. Right. Some people think like, oh, eat as much as you can. That's not the idea. The idea is to feel the spirit of the person who has been without, like the pauper, right? And what that's like. To also, we consume way more than we need to.
Yes.
Our consumption is very, very heavy, right? Especially here in America. We eat more food than we ever need to in one day. We could probably feed a few very hungry people with what one person eats, and of course, what we throw away. We're very wasteful. So Ramadan is a time to begin to think about, just your consumption, just how, how we have to see the other person, because sometimes when you overeat and you don't see the other person so easily, because our situations are with Ramadan, you want to be able to see the other person, the one who does not have, and that's giving charity. And so even if you cannot fast, you should give charity. You should feed someone. So reasons why people can't fast is because they have sickness, like diabetes, high blood pressure, some other ailment. So you shouldn't fast. The idea is not to hurt your body, right? And you shouldn't hurt it trying to complete a fast. So if you can't fast, you feed someone. You do charity. You go do some volunteer work. You give back. If you can't afford to feed anyone, then you go and you give back, or go to a place where they do feed and support that.
I also want to ask you too. Can you fast from a bad attitude? Can that? And that's not funny. Yeah, some people need to fast so that they can sit back and see how ugly their
attitude is.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is the person who really needs to fast is the one who sees the ugly attitude in the person. I'm going to tell you why.
Okay.
Because we are more impacted by their way of being than they are by their way of being. Most people with those kind of attitudes don't even see it, right?
I like that.
So what we want to do is fast from having that impact us.
I like that. That's...
You understand? How it impacts us means we carry it, right?
Correct.
And so if we're carrying it, it's affecting us. It's affecting our mental and spiritual well-being. So we don't want to carry that person. We may not be able to change that person. They may not even be able to fast from their way. They would have to want to. So we can't always impact their willingness. We have to be willing to let them go and not carry them because they have a bad attitude.
I like that.
I can't carry all the bad attitude people around. They too heavy.
They like baggage, right? Like luggage. Trying to get to the airport.
Word.
You carry somebody on the back while you trying to go on your vacation.
What? And you're supposed to be vacation.
Right. That's a word right there.
Yeah, you ain't lying. That's the truth.
So the fast in itself, Ramadan is good because it begins to let you see how much energy it takes even to talk about those people. It takes too much energy because when you're not eating like the way that we normally eat, you need all of your energy for the most important things. And definitely carrying those people around is not it. So when you're fasting, you realize when you have a conversation, how much energy it actually takes to talk. It takes a good amount of energy to talk.
Aisha, I wanted to ask you, what was your first sort of experience in civil rights? I wanted to kind of move into your organization.
Oh, okay.
Bit. Early civil rights experience.
But long before that, my mother took us to the March on Washington. I think that was like 1963 or something.
Oh, you were there for that?
We go back to that because I come from an activist household. I come from an activist mother. And so my activism started as a kid. This is not new. This is what I thought. I thought everybody was like this. I thought everybody was an activist. Until somebody, they said to me, I didn't even know what it was called, right? This is how my household was. If we saw something wrong, we did something about it.
Right.
If somebody, was homeless or victim of domestic violence, we took care of those people. I would see my mother make sure that they were okay when there were women's rights were being violated by welfare was violating women's rights by counting toothbrushes in bathrooms and cutting their benefits off and all kind of crazy stuff back in the day.
Yes.
And, y'all don't know that because y'all too young. But, they used to, if you were on public assistance, they could come in your house and count the number of toothbrushes.
Claudia.
And if you had more toothbrushes than you had people, they would make the assumption, even whether it was or not, they would make the assumption that it was a man. And if they made that assumption, the social worker would question you about it. If you didn't answer the questions properly, then they cut your benefits.
So hold on, wait. They would count the amount of toothbrushes in your house to determine who was living in the house?
Absolutely. That's why.
So you couldn't have two toothbrushes?
Nope. And you couldn't have a man in your house neither.
I remember that.
That's what Claudia was about. Remember the movie?
Right.
Watch Claudine.
Claudine, right.
Claudine. Watch the movie Claudine when you get a chance. And they talk about that. Not only that, if you had things like the toaster and the frying pan and the little cute toaster oven or any new appliance, it was the same way. They felt like if you had money to buy that, or somebody could give you that as a gift, gifted to you, that you didn't need public assistance. It was really horrible, particularly for women without husbands. You were made to be wrong and often criminalized. And so, we did a lot of work around it. My mother did, right? And I'm in the parking lot. The girl just had to get in my spot. Why? There's two spots here. But anyway, that's, you have to fast from these people.
Yeah.
Gotta fast from them.
There you go.
It's the truth. It's the truth. But, so activism started in my household when I was very young. My mother would take us to the welfare centers and we would protest these things. My mother ran a not-for-profit at that time called Labor, LABOR. I don't remember what it stood for, but I know we protested everything. And we had to go to the welfare centers, lock ourselves in and lock ourselves to the door, all kinds of stuff we were doing, right? And make signs. And I just thought everybody did it because there were so many people there with us. And we spent the night inside the welfare centers to protest. And so I never really knew a lot about it being different until I got probably past 12 and realized not everybody did that, you know?
So protesting to you was simply a way of life. Like, that's just what y'all did.
That's what we did.
Yeah.
That's what we did. And I also, you know, I come from a household that's always been involved in activism, Black Panthers, that kind of thing. And so, you know, having voice about wrongs was not new to me. I grew up in that. And anytime, even as an adult now, you know, I pray, I thank God that my mom is still living. You all really need to talk to her, right? But I'm grateful that I was raised in a way. My mother would say, I remember they had a big shootout on 144th Street, and they shot up like two guys. The police did, and they had a press conference. And I was telling my mother, I stood at the press conference with the people who were there, still named people in Harlem. And I didn't like that they said, you know, that it was those guys' fault. It was clearly was not. And I told my mother, I said, you know, I don't feel good about this. No, I said, I don't like the way this was done. She said, hi, baby. You had to have that parking space. I told them on my live that you look, they're gonna see you.
Sorry.
Why you trying to take her parking space? Don't have us come from New York.
Why you took my spot? Yeah, she's trying to get close to the door. Oh, she got a baby. See, we're gonna give her a big slide.
All right.
Yeah,
Okay, she got a baby.
Slide for that.
All right. Give it that.
It's all right, baby. It's patience for me. Everything is a push up for me. Everything helps me grow. So it's all right. And you're a mother. So I give you room because I ain't got no kids to go home to. I'm with them all day. But so anyway, that's how activism started. And this is the cutest baby too. So that's how my activism started. And one thing led to another. I went away to college when I was 17. And activism continued. So I was telling somebody today that when I was in junior high school, that I used to, you know, I had good grades and I was in what they call the SP class.
Oh, yeah. I was in SP. I was in SP.
Special people.
No, you wasn't. I never saw you in SP.
Listen, I got to graduate at 16. That's how SP did me.
I was in IGC.
What's that?
That was
Wait,
intelligently gifted children.
Wait, you was in? I thought you dropped out of school.
Yeah, I did eventually, but before that, I was in IGC. Yes, intelligently gifted children.
I thought that was for dropouts.
Right. So we were all very smart, right? But then they made other kids feel very dumb.
Yes.
So let's go there.
Yes.
That's something to activate on. What about the young people who were separated and disconnected and made to feel like you're not smart enough, you're not good enough? Who did they become? Where are they? Right? They fill out jails right now. Because really, there should be no SP class. There should be no gifted and da-da-da-da, and you know? Yeah. Because what it means is that the school system, because I came that way, because my mother made me this way, not because the school system did. My mother made us read and turn the TV off and help each other with math and times tables, and we had to jump double dutch and spell the words. Like we had to do it all.
How many of you are there? Because I'm assuming you're talking about your brothers and sisters.
Yeah, how many brothers and sisters? Yeah.
So we had to do all of that, right?
How many brothers and sisters do you have?
Family of five.
Five.
Okay. How many daughters? How many girls and how many boys?
It was 2 girls and 3 boys. My sister passed. Mm-hmm. So she was the eldest, and I'm the second eldest, and I have 3 brothers.
Oh, okay. I didn't even know that about you, Aisha. We even had tea and crumpets many a time.
I know. What happened? Why I can't see y'all? Okay, wait a minute.
All right, Okay.
There you go. Okay, y'all here. All right, I'm
back.
Here. Yeah. So I also have one daughter that I birthed, my own child, right? Because I have everybody else's children, and she's full-fledged grown, finished college, doing very well, has her own business, and I have 4 grandchildren and a great-grandchild. Oh. So put that down.
Oh, wow. So your daughter had 4 kids. Your daughter
my grandson is 25. Mm-hmm. College during the first year of the pandemic with no celebration. And I say that to remind myself to celebrate him every time I talk to him.
Oh, that's
So that's
nice.
that
That's
way.
nice.
But so let me tell you quickly about the organization.
Right.
Yeah. So that so I can get up out of this parking lot. But
She's just walking around the parking lot.
What you getting your exercise in? You getting your steps?
I have to ask people to be quiet if I get in.
Oh, okay.
So I'm keeping my commitment.
Okay. Well,
So-
I'm gonna bring you back again. So.
Okay, so let me just tell you about that 5 minutes. Okay, so I have to tell people 5 minutes. I'm used to being on my own. But so let me tell you about the organization. Street Corner Resources is a not-for-profit 501c3. We work with young people to keep them away from gun and gang violence, right? And so I'll just tell you right now, in the village of Harlem, where we operate out of, we have 4 spaces. An administrative office and enhancement space next door to that. Something called the Peace Cafe. We would do an open mic the last Friday of every month. And we have a new space called the Peaceplex. And the Peaceplex, we're really grateful, is a creative space. Maria, you're gonna have to come there and do some things. We're inviting community members to come in. You know, you've done workshops with us on HIV and AIDS and sexuality and that kind of thing. So we want to continue that. Mm-hmm. So I just want to put that out there. We also have other community members doing karate, that kind of, and we pay them. We pay them to do it. Why? Because we see value in our community. Right. And there are a lot of people who actually helped me when I had no money, even if it was words of encouragement to keep going. There were people who did that. So in our looking at our, when I look at the community and my staff looks at the community, is how do we bring the community in and use their resources to better help and improve on our young people. So we have Professor Ricky Jones, who teaches martial arts, self-discipline, and mental judo. Mental judo is a discussion with my staff, my team that goes out into the street. So we also have a contract at Harlem Hospital where we respond to brutal beatings, shootings, and stabbings. And it's been more work than I could even tell you, because violence has been trending starting on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, where it used to trend on like a Friday night and Saturday, right? So my team has been responding sometimes 3 and 4 times a night. Wow. The mayor's office has just expanded our catchment. I don't want to talk too much about that. I'll tell you about that when everything is solidified. So we'll be moving into another area. But let me tell people how they can get in touch with me. They can, our office is on 145th Street. You can, that's at 151 West 145th Street. And then on Instagram, you can catch us at Street Corner Res. And then on Facebook, you can follow us at Street Corner Res on Instagram, Facebook, like us at Street Corner Res. And then, of course, you can stop and come into the office at any given time. And of course, we're available. It's too tight. I can't even get in. Yes, so I have to tell him I can't get in. I ain't that little no more. In that size. Jesus was a baby. But so
I want to ask you. I want to ask you a question. Yes. What is the process for a young person to get involved with Street Corner Resources? Do they have to fill out an application?
In our time, I have never ever turned a kid away. Ever.
Okay.
Never turned a kid away. So all they have to do is show up, and we'll figure it out. Either that will come from our winter AGVYEP, that's Anti-Gun Violence Youth Employment Program. And that usually ends at April. And then we start, summer youth starts in June. So that space in between, we hire them out of our budget. So
hold on for 1 second.
What age?
Our young people, Mayor de Blasio, before he left office, I asked for some help with working with 13-year-olds, because we were seeing more 12 and 13-year-olds pulling triggers.
Yes.
So he gave us some funding to work with them. So we started 13. I don't make a big advertisement about that because we don't want to wind up being babysitters. So we actually look for the young people who are most impacted by violence, right? Whether violence happens in the home or the father's incarcerated
or the mother's a victim of domestic violence, because those kids are more likely to act out with violent behavior if that behavior is not treated.
I just want to read something from the chat room real quick that somebody wrote. And excuse me if you've answered this, because I'm running the system, so sometimes I miss stuff. But Nikki Sunshine says, can you talk about the once a month event I read on your website that at your office? And is that open to the public?
The Peace Cafe, you mean?
Yeah, that's the question that she's asking in the chat room.
Yeah. The Peace Cafe is open to the public. It's a community engagement event. Before the pandemic, every month we had about 150 people. The backyard was full, whether it was winter or summer. The front of the building is full, and the inside we have a living room where we receive people, and then we have a space for entertainment. Every single space was full. Now we're virtual, and we're just beginning. We had our first Peace Cafe where we have people in, and actually we used our new space, the Peace Plex, for that just this Friday passed. So yes, to answer that, yes, it is open to the public. They can call the office. There is a link where they can sign up.
Now, Aisha, that's Nikki Sunshine that owns the Comedy of Harlem that we went to. Yeah, that's Nikki that asked you that question.
Let me tell you, I went there, and they got all on me because I fell asleep.
Aisha, you on for
you became part of the show.
I know they must have snapped on you so much. Oh my God.
You drank Hennessy and it mixed with your sciatica medication, and that's why it knocked you out.
Listen. So I'm in the car with folks. I don't want to be rude.
Okay.
I do want to come back.
Yes.
I just want to say to our listening audience, if you choose to support Street Corner Resources, you can follow us on Instagram. You can donate on Facebook. You can go to our website, SCRNYC1, and you can see, a lot of what we've been doing. Performance ensemble. We're in public schools. We're a vendor with the Department of Ed. We have a contract with Harlem Hospital. And of course, we're in the community and we're here to help. We have 2 social workers, and we have plenty of helping hands. We have a team, 2 teams actually, one down in Washington Square Park and one uptown that canvass the community and support the community to keep it peaceful. So if you need us, or if you don't, and you just want us to show up and do a workshop, we're available. So let's talk, 212-694-8759, 212-694-8759. And I have to say, I also do a radio show, WHCR 90.3 FM, Street Corner Resources Live, and our podcast is coming, and you, Maria, got to come on. All right?
I did your show. Didn't I do your show on the college radio station?
You gotta come back.
Yeah, I did your show. All right. So you gotta get. I'm gonna call you tonight to get another date.
And all that good stuff that you got, we gotta share it. All of that stuff we gotta share.
I gotta call you to get another date, because we ain't even getting into the question how we can change our community. So you have to give me another date for this month.
All you gotta do is call us. If you want to know that, call us. I mean, there are many ways. Just start with that kid that's sitting in front of your building, in the laundromat, on the stoop, down the block, in front of the community center that has a chain on it, and just ask him how he's doing. That's the beginning of change. Just the question, how can I help?
Right.
Are you working? Are you hungry? Simple questions. I want to take that one that's in your house. Start with that one.
Listen, I want to ask you another question. How is the de Blasio, because de Blasio was a big fan of yours, how has it been since the new administration has come in? I know it's only been 100 days.
Y'all not gonna make me political, but I will tell you this. You don't have to wait for me to get off the move. Go ahead and drive. I'm waiting on my sister. Oh. So that the new administration actually has a whole safety plan. And we're glad about that, and supports the crisis management system. But I'll tell you, with Street Corner Resources, one of the things that we've been able to do is actually to garner even more support, and not just from the mayoral point. We are funded out of the mayor's office to prevent gun violence. We just recently got a great review on our work, and we got an extension, and so we just keep it moving. That's all.
Okay.
That's all.
All right.
It's all good.
All right, can you repeat your website and your number again so the people can?
SCRNYC1.org, SCRNYC1.org. And of course, you can follow us on Instagram at Street Corner Res, and like us on Facebook at Street Corner Res. And of course, we're on Twitter and TikTok and all of that. And if you can't find us anywhere else, we're on 140th Street. We're outside. We don't hide. Come and see us.
Yeah, she outside.
Word.
Always.
Aisha, thank you so much.
Yes, thank you.
That was the bomb. Can't wait for you to come back on and meet you in person.
All right. Thank you all for being tolerant.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
All right, we'll see you soon. Peace. That was great.
That was good.
And you know what? And I don't even think we scratched the surface, really.
No, we didn't. That's
Yeah.
why I said she got to give me another day.
Yeah, there was so
I
much
want
to talk
talk about when the young kids are in the streets, because they go to the hospitals and stuff with her too. How does that emotionally affect them?
Right.
You know, do they have to have counseling? How does it impact the young people? Are some weaker than the other ones?
Sure.
So with those, do they not go to the Harlem Hospital? Do they go, or do you give them more office work?
Right.
Other than being out in the street? So those are some of the questions. But McGee's on there too. He's part of the 28th Precinct Community Council. Let me see if I can get McGee. He in the streets.
Yeah, pop on your mic, McGee. And
McGee.
the one thing about it that she's right about, that she says, is that you have to, is that it really starts with that question, right? It really just, you walking up to a kid and going, hey, you know, which happened to me on Friday. I was sitting in the car, smoking a cigar and drinking a little bit before the show. And this kid, you know, I'm playing like all this old music, this Nas stuff. And this 15-year-old kid, he comes over and he's like, what's that you playing? You know, and I said, oh, this is the Far Side. You know, keep on passing me by. He's like, yo, I love that. Yo, that's hot. So he goes back and sits down. Now, any kid that shows any type of interest at 15 in that kind of music, you kind of want to have a conversation with him. So I went over to him and I said, young man, what you know about that? You know, he said, well, my dad, you know, will play that. And then I asked, how old's your dad? Because now I'm figuring, okay, now I'm old enough to be his dad's dad, right? It's like a grandson situation. So I was like, well, are you into music? Do you rap? You know what I'm saying? He's like, yeah, I can rap. I said, well, hit a little freestyle. You know what I'm saying? So he hit a little freestyle, and I said, well, you want to come and like record? I'm like, I got a studio. He said, I've been looking for a studio to record in, but that's how those conversations happen. His friend was at the doctor's office, and here's where it gets a little crazy. His friend's name is, I call him Wiley, and his name is Khalil, and I call him Superman because he's named after Superman. I said, let's go upstairs, and we're going to eat, you know, eat a little lunch. And something happened while they were there that one of their friends, their bike got stolen, right? And they got the phone call. And the young blood, he's like, yo, I got to get activated. I got to go down there. We got to go deal with this. And I said, no, you don't. I said, I said, call the police. Let them call the police. Let them deal with that. You don't need to be in that situation. This situation that you're in right here might be the situation that saves your life. This could be a turning point for you. Even if we don't do music, this might have been a moment that you were not supposed to be in that position, that you could have gotten into a whole lot of trouble. He just kind of sat there and looked at me and he's like, yeah, you know, you're right. And then he realized to it. And then there was a whole thing when someone came into the restaurant and was like, oh, shake what your mama gave her. You, yeah. You know, there was a whole thing that happened. But you know, she's right, though. Sometimes it's just a conversation and not being afraid to approach kids and just ask them, hey, bro, you know, like, what's up with you? You hungry or what you doing? So I get it.
But you know, but then the greatest thing is she said, ask them questions to your own child that might be in your house that you don't know. Because some parents are not knowing what their kids are doing. Because I remember when they had the shootout on 8th Avenue and the two young people were shooting out, but they wound up killing an Uber driver who just happened to be driving by with a passenger. The passenger didn't get hurt. And they were like, these kids have guns in their houses. I said, well, they mamas don't pick up their mattress and ask them questions?
And they don't flip the bed?
And that's what Aisha was saying, that they don't know that their kids have the gun. How do you not know your child has a gun in the house?
Were you flipping your kid's mattress, Maria?
Absolutely.
Did you do that, Rock?
Absolutely. And I knew who their friends was. And I called their friend. And I made sure I knew whoever his friend was, who the parent was.
Yeah, I mean, I had no problem going to my kid's room and like going through this stuff, especially if they was at school. If they was at school and I was in the house bar, I go through this stuff, go through the drawers, see what's going on. You know, my mom, she didn't do that to me though. So, you know, she didn't.
They said, Mom, Dad, you're invading my
Hey,
privacy.
Maria.
Yes.
I'm like, this is my house.
Nikki again. You know what? I think some of these parents are in denial because I got a call from my good girlfriend. She lives in Chicago and she has a son. Her son is like 19. And she called me on Tuesday to tell me that her son got shot. And he was riding around something with these guys he didn't know, and they were doing a video. So she said he got shot in the arm. And she said, on top of that, he took my gun.
Oh.
And I said, what? Because she has a registered gun, and her and her husband go to the gun range. So I said to her, I said, well, was this a premeditated thing? Like, why would he be riding around? And what would he need to take your gun for all of a sudden? And she just wasn't putting two and two together. And I'm still thinking, you better ask your son questions and grill him about really. Said that they shot 27 rounds at the car with a 9mm and a .45.
And her son was in the car with them?
And her son was the only one that got hit. 27 rounds. Praise God, he only got hit in the arm.
Wow.
But nobody else in the car was hurt.
So they were that was some form of gang violence that went on then. If that
maybe so.
Right.
Maybe so. But she said he's looking to get out of town or this or that. But I'm thinking to myself, why would he have your gun? Ask him. Why did he take your gun out?
Yeah, he felt like he needed protection.
Yeah. So
at the very least,
to that story.
Yeah, at the very least, he felt like he needed protection.
And she probably didn't ask those questions to him. And she's probably not. I don't want to say she's probably not. But we in different times now. You got to monitor your children. If they living in your house, I need to know everything. Yeah. Like, you're not going to go and come in and out my house. And if that's the case, then you need to be on your own.
Yeah. That situation there is either one or two things. He either provoked it, or he knew that he was in a problem and he was trying to protect himself. Right. That's the only way that goes. You know what I'm saying? You either carry a gun because you provoking trouble, or you're in trouble and you want to protect yourself. You know what I'm saying?
But it's the same way.
Are you down with the gang?
Or you down with the gang?
Are you down with the gang?
Yeah. Maria, I just want to say this here, Maria, because I got to go. You know, one thing we got to look at this generation now, the music they listen to is violence. And number two, you have young peoples that are grandmothers. So we have to look at this whole situation.
Yeah.
And what we do with Narcotics Anonymous, I'm going on 34 years clean in 5 months, right? So I do every Tuesday at my church, Canaan Baptist Church, I have a group called The Best Kept Secret. So we deal with mothers, fathers, and young people to get them to stay away from the first drugs. And also we got to look at when we came up, we had jobs. They got nothing for these young people today. What do they have for these young people?
That's true.
Nothing. We have all these mayors, they get stimulus money, and we're not putting them responsible. What are they doing with this money?
Yes.
Yeah.
Our kids, they close down the schools, they close down the hospital. What do our kids have to do?
That's right. You 100% right about that. And I can't understand why we have so much money. We have lots of African American entertainers, actors that have money. I don't understand why they cannot buy up some community centers in each state, open them up with some social workers, mental health, specifically for the young people.
Right.
I don't understand that. You know,
and it don't take much.
And I want to say this: they sit and they party, they billionaires, they ballers. You're a billionaire and you're a baller. And so what are you doing as a billionaire and a baller? Because billionaire and baller don't mean nothing to me at all.
Right, exactly. Not if you're not helping your community.
Right. And how
let me say this, Maria, our city council, right? I know y'all all heard this. They wanted the $3 billion to build bike lanes and bus lanes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Are they serious? They are bus lane and bike lane more than important than our youth and our homeless. Something's wrong with this picture.
Something is wrong.
Yeah.
Something is wrong. And we need to hold our city council people accountable, because you're right, McGee. All of this money, then Hochul gives $2.6 million. Deirdre Fisher Kemp is on here. $2 billion for the stadium. Sorry, mister. But she just put out another thing. She giving $2.6 million to the Holocaust Initiative. I said, what in the world? You are the New York State governor. We got all of these homeless people. Then let's not talk about the 2 homeless people that they said was living in the train station over the weekend and got killed by a train.
Oh, how'd they do that?
You didn't read that? Oh,
No,
that's a big
I missed that
thing.
story.
They were living in the train. Inside.
In the tunnel?
Yes, in the tunnel.
They was living in the tunnel.
Mm-hmm.
What happened? I guess they must have woke out and stepped out. So you could be sleeping, hear something, and something frighten you. But they had to send dogs and police down there to get them out the tunnel because they was afraid to sleep on the street because people was setting them on fire.
Jesus.
Wow.
Right. And the tunnels are warm too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is really.
And now you going to the homeless. Now I have no problem with you wanting to reduce the homeless population because let me tell you something. We have so much money. The United States has money.
Yeah.
Why do we have homeless people?
Yeah. How much money did they send to the Ukraine? Right. That's in the billions of dollars.
That's a whole different ball game. When it comes to war, they send billions of dollars, right?
Mm-hmm.
For what? What are we doing?
To tear down and hold another company to another
We're
country.
not protecting ourselves.
Mhm.
Right. That's right.
That is so deep. And it's $2.6 million for a Holocaust initiative.
Mm-hmm.
I have no problems. I sympathize. I watched the Titanic. I did all of that. But let's talk about the kids that are in our communities that have no resources and that are doing nothing but fighting each other.
Right.
And I understand black on black crime. I understand all of that. But what I'm saying is maybe if you gave the blacks some resources, we would have less black on black crime or inspired them or gave them opportunities. We got stem cell projects. How we have coding for young men?
Right.
So Maria, what I was trying to do, we got all this business in Harlem, right? And
McGee, you went on mute. He put himself on mute.
He got so excited he muted himself.
Hold on, let me ask him to mute. He muted himself.
McGee, unmute yourself.
There you go.
McGee?
You back? He's almost back. Maybe not. So how much for the Holocaust initiative?
Holocaust for their health.
Yeah.
Health care.
Okay, good. So I'm going to start an initiative. I see it's language, right? I'm going to start the Foundational American Slavery Initiative.
Don't get me started.
Right? Since you want to donate money to a horrific, historical act, well, slavery's about as bad as it gets. So let's just start that and let's see if we can get a couple of bills.
I want to know why they don't understand. Why is slavery bypassed? I don't understand that. They bypass, like y'all need to get over it.
Right.
But you giving millions of dollars to some people who already receiving checks.
Right.
They getting checks for the Holocaust.
Right.
I'm not trying to, say nothing.
Ain't trying to diss it.
I ain't trying to diss it.
Yeah,
but I'm saying
Don't get us kicked off of YouTube.
No, we're not getting. I'm having a conversation.
Right.
Where is our reparation?
That's right.
Our family members that were sharecroppers, and some of them, they were slaves. We were brought over from Africa against our will.
Right.
And not only in our communities, but incarceration.
Sure.
That's slavery.
Yes.
Why? Because it's 85% African American and Latino.
Right. That's right.
And yesterday, I was listening to, shout out to Franklin, Pastor Franklin.
Yep.
He said, if black men and black boys decided, I'm not going to be incarcerated anymore. He said, do you know that would collapse the whole
Prison system. Yep.
Deidre Fisher Kemp says it's not an initiative, it's to the Holocaust survivors.
No, but she named it initiative because I got the article.
Okay.
Oh, Deirdre sent me the article.
Okay.
But what about the slavery? So I'm a survivor of slavery.
Right.
So why do we keep being looked over? I don't understand it.
Right.
They give money for all these different $2.something billion for the man in Buffalo for the stadium.
And just for clarity with the word survival, right? Survivors. Let's really think about this. How old are the actual survivors?
And how many are left?
Right, correct. The actual Holocaust survivors are well into their 90s, 80s and 90s, right? So What is it that we're actually talking about with that?
Wait, let me bring the
no,
article up.
And no bust on it, but I'm just saying, if you could do that, right, then you could absolutely positively like give money to the Black Foundational American Slavery survivors.
And what about the Indians?
Right, sure. Well, the Indians, at least they got land. You know what I'm saying? They got a big chunk of the United States. They do have, and the Indian is a sovereign nation. They have their own. I've been through it. I've been through the Navajo Nation. It's huge. It's huge. It's like 600 and something square miles. It's huge. So at least they got that. We didn't get that.
We didn't get 40 acres and a mule.
Right. Okay. So
I don't want the mule. Just give me the acres.
That's it.
Wait, I'm gonna see if I can find this. Here it is. Wait.
With the mule.
Here it is.
Okay.
So I'm gonna read 2.6 million to enhance health care services
For the Holocaust survivors.
for Holocaust. First of all, health care service. Excuse me. How many black people died during COVID?
Sure.
So where's our health care services? African Americans suffered the most during COVID because we have major health disparities because of our poor communities, because of the poor clinics in our community. We need a health initiative also. But let me finish reading. Governor Kathy Hochul today announced $2.6 million in funding provided by FY 2023 enacted budget to support the Holocaust Survivors Initiative. This funding to be administered by New York State Office for Aging will be used to increase access to health care and related services provided by community-based organizations for those who suffered in the Holocaust.
Which is like 10 people that are left alive.
Listen. Survivors of the Holocaust endured tragedy beyond the imagination of the average person. We owe them a lifetime of care, and with this funding, we can ensure they receive just that. Governor Hochul said in New York, we will never forget and we will do everything possible to honor the memory of the millions of lives lost and ensure survivors will always be safe, protected, and supported. Today, we are reaffirming our commitment to supporting survivors as is our duty. And this funding will serve to widen access to services and lift them out of poverty. Lord have mercy.
Wow. And so
The crazy thing is we're not the country that did them,
right, we didn't actually do it. Right. We actually jumped in and saved them from the Holocaust. Where's Germany that should actually be doing this, by the way? And
Germany should be doing
that's a very good point. And what's like, wow, like, okay.
Now,
So you know that's about votes, right? Because she's running for office again.
lift them out of poverty?
Yeah, that's all about votes. Because she's running for office. So that's all votes. Because none of that makes sense to me. I'm just going to say it. Does it lift them out of poverty? Yeah, I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm not saying they're rich. I'm just saying there's a disparity there that I'm not sure that I'm connecting with.
Today, we are reaffirming our commitment to supporting survivors as it is our duty. What about the survivors? What about us?
Right. We are the survivors.
Oh, Deidre Fisher Kemp says, and they receive reparations from Germany. So they're getting it from Germany and they're getting it from us.
Damn. And we still ain't getting nothing. Wow.
And if they see you in the public assistance office, all of us are using the system.
Right. Yeah. You're like, what? No. We ain't using the system. Y'all supposed to be giving me this money. That's all I'm saying.
This is like that thing that she wrote don't even make sense. We are committed to making sure that they get great. They already get great health care.
Right. What are y'all talking about? That's all about votes. Because she's running, right? She's running this year.
Well, I'm saying publicly, she will not be getting my vote.
There you go. That's it. That's right.
Not be getting my vote. Because I'm tired of these people looking past the slavery. Mm-hmm. Has traumatized us till today.
To this day.
2022. I know some of us can change our mindsets and do better, but guess what? You can do better by helping us do better. Yeah. We still have poor, very poor hospitals in our community.
Yes, we do.
We still have very poor school systems that keep us out of going to other school systems. We should have a right to go to any school we want to, but we can't.
That's right.
And that's supposed to be against the law. They said years ago that a child should be able to go to any school they want to, but you can't.
Mm-hmm.
Because then you got to get a variance letter. It has to be signed, approved, all these different major steps. My son went to school.
You got to be in the district.
My son went to this school down on Chambers Street.
What,
And
high
it was
school?
No, elementary school, which was a sprinkle of us.
Yep.
But he went to that. We got him in that school.
That's right. You wanted them to have a better education.
And it's a shame. Why can't you live in your own community and get the best education? Because that's the commitment that the Board of Education made. That's the purpose of the Board of Education, to make sure that each child get the resources to be the best human being they can be.
Correct. And that's not what they do. You go into these schools and they're poorly funded and they don't get the best teachers. But, more so than that, and because I've been around them a lot, and I've been in great schools and I've been in, in schools that aren't so great. And what I did notice in the great schools, the money flows. They can do whatever they want. Those charter schools, but when it comes to the DOE, to the Board of Education, schools, they're killing them. They are really they bog them down so much in red tape for them to do one thing that they get discouraged. They go, why to go buy one thing, a piece of paper. There's paperwork to go buy paper. You know what I'm saying? So we wonder why our schools suffer, and it's because a lot of times the administrators, their hands are tied. And
that's great. And see, that's the difference with charter schools too. Charter schools are not governed by the Board of Education.
Correct.
They have their own board, and I guess they have their own rules and regulations and stipulations that they have, but they're more freed up. But the only thing about charter schools too, you don't have to be a certified teacher to teach in charter school.
Somebody on the iPhone said the schools are using taxpayer money.
Yes.
All schools are part of DOE.
Yes.
You mean all schools, even the charter schools?
No, charter schools is definitely not
iPhone
a part.
person.
I can absolutely positively tell you that charter schools are not governed by the same rules.
No, not at all.
Not at all. I'm telling you straight. I saw it. You know what I'm saying? I lived it.
Like my grandbaby
from the inside.
She was just in charter school, and because of what she's going through, that's how we found out that they are governed by different. You can't call the Board of Education and complain about a charter school. You have to go through their different channels to do it. But then,
iPhone person is saying DOE funds charter schools.
No, they don't. They do not fund charter schools.
No, not at all.
They give them the spaces for the charter schools to be. That's why the public schools are so broken up. You can go in the public school.
Ms. Babs is saying they still get NYC funding.
Oh, wait up, hold on.
Oh, yeah, get Tashawn up here.
And Lays just popped into the chat.
Hey, Lays.
Look at that there.
Lazy Lays and Ms. Babs, unmute.
Yeah, okay. He was calling. I wasn't sure if he wanted to be on the show.
Right.
So I didn't pick the phone up.
I'm sorry, y'all.
I'm like, let me in.
You saw I just texted you. I said, I'm on the show with Maria. Do you want to come on? But there you go. He zoomed in.
Okay, so
let me in. I'm going to be there. Hi, Maria.
Hi, Uncle Legs. Did you have a good time at your birthday party?
Oh, my God. I you know what? I went right to Vegas after. So I didn't get a chance to call you and talk about it. I just want to tell you I had such a great time. Thank you so much.
I have video of you dancing. Oh my gosh. I just look at that video every day. You was going in. I was like, go on, old man, Unc. And wait a minute. And the classic of y'all. So I'm using y'all's little video to promote my next day party spades competition. People already picking their partners for spades already. My friends.
I knew we was gonna blow. I knew we was gonna start something first and foremost, and that's you for giving me the cards, because you gave me the cards, and you can't give me no cards without me going want to play spades. Rock already know how I am about spades.
Boston.
Rock already know.
Oh my God!
It's crazy.
You lose a friendship over spades with this guy.
I get serious with spades. But let me tell you something. So on the 12th of, and this goes out to all of you golfers and everybody who likes to play golf and everybody who loves charity. And I'm going to use your time to do this little commercial, because we are doing OSG golf tournament at Pelham Split Rock Golf Course on June 12th.
Where'd he go?
He's driving. He might have caught a spot.
Oh.
He'll come back.
Okay, so June 12th, we all gonna be at that golf tournament.
What if we don't know how to play golf?
They're gonna teach me that day.
And let me tell you,
because
it's more to it than that. It's just fun to be on the golf course.
Yes. I've never been on a golf course.
Oh, no. There's activities for us.
You going with us too, because this is OSG, off school grounds. They are maniacs that care about our kids. I mean, I love them. That day party was so. My church family had a dang good time because of what they was doing. And then they were taping the they taped the spades game. So we're gonna run that as a little commercial.
I lost you, I'm back.
Yeah.
Did you hear what I said, Maria?
Yeah, we were just talking about it.
We all said we're gonna be there.
June 12th.
Yeah, we were just talking about it, Les.
I think he froze again.
Yeah, he froze a little bit because he's driving.
I'm back. I'm back. So June 12th, we need you to host a space tournament. We are giving $10,000 in scholarship checks to 2 kids to go to college. And then we also have a contest, a hole-in-one contest for $10,000. And we have sponsors, and we're going to be playing golf, and it's just going to be a beautiful event. And everybody's going to have a great time. We're going to have raffles, everything. So
what are we going to... Can we learn to play golf there that day? Because you've been promising me forever, and I'm still ain't touched the golf course.
We will have pros out there doing a golf clinic too, so you will get some golf instruction that day.
Oh, okay, I like that. All right. Wait a minute.
And Maria, but understand, Maria, there's levels to this, Maria. And listen, I love you, sis, but there's levels to this golf.
Well, can I even get to hit the ball so I can know what level I can get to?
Yes. You're going to come out there. We're going to hit the ball. We're going to have a hole-in-one contest. We're going to have a space tournament. We're going to have free food, open bar, and we're going to have a dance at the, DJ playing music at the pavilion. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be June 12th. It's going to be insane.
Well, that's good because
I'm telling you right now.
That's good because it's in the Bronx, so that's gonna be easy to get to.
Yeah.
iPhone person said you need miniature golf, Maria.
I'm going with the big dog.
That's it. I'm starting out swinging for the fences.
Off large.
I'm doing the hills and the valleys and the sand pits.
And that's right. I ain't going to no mini
Maria
golf
Davis
with the
large and in charge. Large and in charge. Maria Davis. Large and in charge.
So wait, ladies, make sure you check your calendar because I need y'all at my spades competition day party. I only started day parties because of you.
Yeah, that's true.
And bust how your day parties is gonna rock because people my age, shout out to the people in their 40s and 50s that ain't got no time to be hanging out all night long at these little goofy parties with these kids. They want to go with the grown people.
That's it.
You know what I'm saying?
I was in bed by 8 o'clock that day. 8 o'clock, I was in bed recovering. I was like, this is wonderful.
I was fired up and went right to sleep.
So
liquor don't know what time it is. Liquor just go liquor. Liquor don't know what time it is.
Liquor will punch your clock.
We get ready to change the tide because we've been having a serious conversation about, and we asked Tashana to come in too. I said that charter schools hold a different governing than Board of Election public schools.
Board of Education. And so somebody said that they were funded by the Board of Education. And I said they're not. They don't get funding. They get spaces to house the charter schools.
You want me to chime in on this?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, you and Tashana was coming in too. Go ahead.
And I'm actually in the making, and Rock knows this, I'm actually building the framework for a charter school right now. And I'm doing it through Harvard University with my boy Gus Johnson. It's going to be funded by 2 billionaires. And we are actually working on the framework for a charter school now. And the charter schools are governed by a board. They're funded by grants and private donors for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
And some public funding because there are public issues. But it's an entirely different checkbook. It's an entirely different process. You don't have to deal with some of the issues that you deal with in procurement that the Board of Education has, but you don't have to be a vendor of New York City to deal with this. But it's different. It's a little tougher because every year you gotta make sure your money is right and your game is tight and you have your enrollment up and all those other things. So charter schools are actually harder. It doesn't have that protection of the Board of Education where you could be a lame ass teacher or a lame ass principal and still keep your job if you got tenure.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I mean, I like the charter schools because you got to work for it. And if you check out, shout out to my brother Travis Brown, he just got his doctorate. Shout him out. I got a bottle of Macallan's 18 for him. But let me just say this to you. It is a tough road to hoe. It's tough, but charter, trust me, it's worth it. Shout out to Eagle Academy, the new chancellor of schools in New York City. It comes from a charter program called Eagle Academy, one of the top charter programs, David Banks, a great guy, the new chancellor of schools in New York City. So yes, charter school is the way to go if you can go charter school. You got to work for it. So they work harder for the kids, for my opinion.
And I think that Mr. Banks is having some challenging times too, because the school system has been so poor for so long, and then it's hard to just make the correction right away because you have people that's been mediocre, perform mediocre in the schools,
sure,
and they don't, you can't fire them. Like I had an incident with my daughter, my grandbaby on Friday. They was sending her in the ambulance by herself to the hospital to be reevaluated, psych evaluation. I was like, what? And they said they can do that. I said they can do that in a public school?
Yes, they can. Yes, they can. They can absolutely do
that. So let me speak to that. So shout out to Eric Banks. He's the chancellor of New York City schools. He was on one of my OSG Zooms, and we had a conversation the other day about a few weeks ago. He came on the Zoom, and he's making all of the superintendents reapply for their jobs, and he's trying to hold people accountable. So let me give you some numbers here, and before your guest comes on, because I know she has more information than me, obviously.
No. She left already. Aisha Sekou from Street Corner Resources. She had to go because she was out of town.
Yeah. Right. Well, let me give you some numbers. A $38 billion budget is 1.1 million children in New York City schools. Less than 3% of that money goes to schools in need.
Wow.
Most of that money is tied up with vendors and all kinds of other stuff. So they have to reevaluate the procurement system. They have to reevaluate all that stuff because you have all these different vendors, whether it's food, whether it's, construction, whether unions and all the teachers union, all that other stuff that really have a wrangle on how that money is spent. Now, quite honestly, we have creative vendors like art vendors like me. I'm a creative vendor for New York City schools. So I don't have anything bad to say about the vendor, with the exception that it is tougher for African-American companies to get the proper the MTACs, meaning the MTAC, meaning the trusted vendor licenses that normally most people can get. These companies that have got it kind of wrangled. Let's talk construction. I built, so I design and build studios. We actually have to go through MTAC vendors, and they're all Indians.
Wow.
Run that. And then some of the Italians, they run. I'm not trying to make it a race thing.
No, you're not. You don't have to.
People of color are just now cracking the surface as it pertains to this. Is one of the hardest things. Shout out to BU, those organizations like that have had these problems for years, and so you have people that are putting millions and billions of dollars into education, and it's not reaching these underserved communities. Let's just talk about food, for instance. You have pots that are places that are making food for the kids, and they're charging a hell of money for the kids, and the food ain't even good. The food's not healthy, and they're giving kids this, they shipping it to schools. Now, unfortunately, and let me just say this, unfortunately, there's not much you can do about it today. Now, Eric Banks is trying to change a lot of that stuff, but he can't really change it. It won't happen in a day,
right?
Because these are embedded. These are embedded unions and organizations that are locked in, and you can't even fire teachers that are really doing harm to the community and schools.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And the amount of scrutiny, and let me just say this, there's only 8% African-American female principals in this country.
Right.
And they seem to all be on OSG, to be honest with you. But you have to understand the power structure is changing as we go forward. But the amount of scrutiny these African Americans, I mean, just doing God's work in these communities, Brownsville, East New York, South Bronx. Rock is going to be at a school tomorrow in South Bronx with Dr. Riley. Shout out to Dr. Riley, the other principal. The amount of scrutiny that these people go under just to help these babies is ridiculous. And a lot of them spend money out of their own pockets. They be spending money out of their own pocket just to make sure the kids are all right. I mean, like, for instance, my sister April Leon from Liberation Plus Diploma in Coney Island, you know, she spent $5,000 just to feed the kids one day, to bring in food for the whole school and everything, and little stuff like that. She was under investigation for stuff like that. They so quick to investigate Black and brown people for doing something for kids. Now, my children go to a school in a very nice, lily white neighborhood. Luckily, I was able to get out of the hood. I'm from Brownsville, Brooklyn. I'm not saying, because I'm in there every day, I'm not really out of it. But my kids are growing up in a nice neighborhood, and they get all kinds of funding, and nobody ever says no to them. You can't do almost anything to make the lives better of these children in these schools, except buy paper. So at the end of the day, with these $1 million budgets, they got these companies that are locked into where they just buying paper at the end of the year because they got to spend the money. Because if you don't spend the money, you don't get it back.
You know what is so deep? Because when you talk about children and education and giving them resources, this is why our children wind up, we have the highest numbers of incarceration. Because if you can help the children when they're in those baby stages and redirect them, you can possibly 99% of the time keep a child out of incarceration. This is so deep. This is
It's very deep.
The
school system put more kids in jail than anything else, because most of our Black and brown babies, even though they're coming from bad situations, they come to the school with tremendous amounts of potential. But the old system, the way of doing things in the school system, remember, we're still teaching out of the playbook from the 1970s and 80s. This is 2022. We have to revamp the entire school system. We have to revamp the way that children are taught. And that's why the school that I'm building is about communication. Communication is the key. As I say over and over again, the oldest things in the human condition is fire and communication. We have mastered fire. We have not mastered communication, because if you give a 7, 8, 9-year-old child the ability to communicate and articulate their genius, guess what happens? You keep them out of jail. Think about Michael Brown and Trayvon Martin. Well, Michael Brown was a young kid who was killed by a police officer down in Ferguson, right? So now the police officer got off, whatever the case may be. But imagine if Michael Brown had the ability to communicate properly, if he was taught how to communicate and have a confidence in his voice. So he's not moving his head, moving around, making the officer feel like flinchy and nervous because the officer can't communicate to these kids. So that's the problem we have in our community. Our kids do not have the ability to communicate. So now they may be, listen, you could be a genius, but if you can't tell nobody you're a genius, how we gonna know?
Right.
How we gonna know? That's why I build these communication stations. I used to call them podcast stations. Now I call them communication stations. I build these communication stations in schools to teach kids how to communicate. Rock teaches one over at Farrell's Academy, and I can guarantee you, Rock will tell you right now, the difference he's seeing in his students is remarkable. Kids with autism, kids that are around, are finding confidence in their voice. It's the power of your voice. When God said, "Let there be light," He spoke the word. Let there be light.
Absolutely.
It's the power of your voice.
Absolutely.
Let the borders separate sea from land. It was voice. And every time you speak things into existence, it happens. You're able to speak life. You're able to speak things into existence. So if you can't communicate, you don't have power in your voice, imagine now you can teach kids at 7, 8 years old to have power of their voice.
That's right.
So not a little boy and walking around. He's not screaming. He's not fighting nobody, because he's actually able to articulate what's happening in his life.
And that's what's happening to my grandbaby. That's what's happening to my grandbaby. And I told my daughter, we have to figure out a way that we can show her how to communicate, not hit herself with a shoe, not hit herself in the head, because now she's being deemed that she's bad. And this is what's been embedded in her mind, that she's bad. And I was like, where do you get that from? So the doctor asked her, so how do you feel? Why were you hitting yourself in the head? She said, because I'm bad. And the doctor was like, what do you mean you bad?
Right.
She said, because I don't listen. She said, we get 5-year-olds in here that don't listen all the time.
Right.
What does that have to do with
Maria? Put a microphone in front of your child, put some headphones on, give her a pen and pad, and let her talk and let her hear her voice. Let her hear herself.
She wasn't here
and let her
doing
speak.
that. Though.
She was, you know what, Lace? I did bring her here, Lace, one time, and that's what she was doing. She was fascinated with talking into the mic
and hearing her voice. Yeah. Yeah.
That, oh yeah.
That's absolutely right.
Yeah.
Like,
Children, the
Grandma.
power of their voice,
Yeah.
it will change the paradigm in our community.
That's
and a lot
excellent.
of problems can get solved. Communication
And
is
she was like, take me, Grandma.
Yeah, she was like, take me, Grandma.
I mean, you
talking.
got to remember that you don't sound the same way in your head that you sound when you speak. So when you
Right.
put these headphones on and you actually hear your voice, you're like, oh, that's what I sound like to everybody else. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's an incredible thing.
So, Laze, is that why every time a kid see me on the megaphone, they want to get on the megaphone too?
Yeah, sure.
And they have fun. They want to say the same thing I'm saying. So I give them the little line, and they say it. Some of them be like, take a condom.
So Billy Dan said this. Shout out to my world famous MOP, my first family. I'm MOP for life. Billy Dan from MOP was asking to interview in the early days of MOP, like maybe at about 10 years in, like 2000. We were sort of, I think we were on Rockefeller Records. We was doing an MTV interview, and the guy from MTV said, "Why are you so loud? Why are you so loud?" He said, "Because I come from a place where people don't hear us.
Ooh.
They don't hear us. We are invisible." How many times have you sat went to a store to try to get help from a woman at a store, and a white lady walked up to the lady, and all of a sudden she acted like she don't see you. She walked right past you and talked to the lady as if you are invisible. African American people in this country, the problem is we are invisible. So we
Ralph
act out
Ellison, the Invisible Man. He talked about being a black man and being invisible. That's true. Mm-hmm. That's true. They don't see us. They don't see us.
The power of their voice.
Yes.
The voice, Maria.
Yes. And you know what? That is so compelling, because even as somebody that's 62 years old, I think my voice is so important that this podcast, I'm not even, if 1,000, 2,000 people don't show up right now, that's okay. But I get to talk about issues in my community that impact all of us, and that people are interested, and they want to be a part of the conversation.
Sure. Absolutely.
And I think that this is so, Tashana, we had you on. Let me hear, Tashana, what you have to say about charter schools versus public school. Tashana.
Well, I'm here. I ain't run nowhere.
All right.
No.
Show us your birthday face. Her birthday's tomorrow.
Yeah, you had the camera on before.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday, sister.
Look at her blondie. Ooh, blondie.
Another Taurus. Happy birthday, sister.
Tashana missed the day party. I told her, you missed, honey, you missed it. But we're going to do her. We're celebrating Tashana on May 21st.
Okay, we got you.
Yeah. So
May
tell us what
21st,
you
ladies.
think, Tashana, being that you are the director. Tell everybody who you are.
Well, I'm Tashana Pace. I'm the founder and CEO of Miss Black American Princess, Inc., which I founded in 2005. Like a lot of us in the community, we can't talk about our kids if we're not ready to make a difference in their lives. So we do etiquette, self-esteem, education, and beauty. So we take them from point A to point Z. We give out scholarships. Actually, we have one of our young ladies that is going to Spelman in September. So we're giving her a $1,000 scholarship, and we're so very proud. So
You're supposed to hit the button on that.
I was waiting for her to finish. Yeah.
So you're also the director of Drew Hamilton Community Center.
yes, I'm director of Drew Hamilton Community Center, which we're doing amazing things in the community.
Yes, you are.
And we're here from pretty much 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. open to the teens in the community, and just making everything happen for adults, seniors. We just had an amazing health and wellness fair last weekend. We had the prostate cancer pre-screening van out, and I'm just happy to make a difference in the community, because I understand what the community needs. So, and they allow me to do what I do.
And they've been giving you a little hard time. We ain't gonna shout their names out, but Tashana has tried to do so many different out of the box things for the young people in her community, and she's always getting pushback from it. And I find that amazing. You know, she's doing all of this great work, and then she got to get calls from people saying, well, you didn't do it this way, you didn't do it that way. When she was doing what she tries to include them, they don't take it serious. So then when she go off on and do her own thing, then they have so much to say about
press
it.
1. To send a voicemail, press.
Nothing you do, if you're doing something great,
Yo.
comfortable.
Yeah, hello?
This is Al Pizarro.
Al Pizarro on the line.
Hey, Al Pizarro. So Tashana, you worked. Tashana did great work at the YMCA. She used to do the after school program. I mean, the after school and day camp program. And she could tell you too. I remember she used to tell me she was at the Y on, I think it was 100th Street. What is it, 106th Street?
105th. It was used to be Grosvenor House.
Right.
YMCA.
But the difference, and I don't want to. This is bad to say, but I'm going to say it. The Caucasian parents that are involved in PTA versus the black parents that are involved in PTA.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
Yeah. So I really felt, and I do feel, you know, God brings us to certain places to bring it full circle. You know, I grew up in a neighborhood and I was able to actually see parents who can pay $1,800 for daycare. First of all, I was floored by that. I'm like, wow, this is like automatically coming out of their accounts. They didn't have, you know, they had to provide everything. However, what really amazed me is that they used every free resource that was available.
Hit that button on there. Thank you.
Yep, they left no stone.
Did everybody?
Our kids.
Okay. She's freezing up again.
Our kids can have the same thing. And so, but what I also realized in that is that we have to educate the parents as well.
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm spreading the word to the parents. Your children are entitled to this. Don't let them tell you that your children are not entitled to this. And some parents did listen and they were able to get their kids full scholarship to the Columbia School. Not one child, but both children, because they need our kids. They need our babies in their education. And you know what? Our kids are entitled and they should have that opportunity. The public school system, when they started No Child Left Behind, they left all the kids behind. I don't know where that came from. But it's the most horrible thing that they can do for our kids.
Right. So, No Child Left Behind.
Working in,
Wow. Well, one thing, sis, first of all, congratulations on all the hard work that you're doing. You said a couple of things, and I definitely want you to add on to it. But I wanted to say something. You talked about the PTA. You mentioned the PTA, how the African American families were not involved in the PTA the way the white families were involved in the PTA. I think that is a big issue that we're having, and I can maybe tell you why. Couple things. I want to tell you why. You understand that schools are funded through property tax for the most part. So a lot of times in places where the home ownership or the property tax are higher in certain areas, the schools get more funding for the property taxes. And because of that, the parents who pay the property taxes are involved. When we live in societies where, in areas where there's a large renter class, especially in our African-American neighborhoods, like the projects and all the other stuff like that, they're not investing into the schools. I think a problem that they're trying to fix with that is sort of changing the schools into something called community schools and making the schools more of a hub as opposed to just a 8 to 3 education center, but making it a community hub. And I was in a meeting with some very high-ranking people in the Board of Education on ways to get people more involved, the parents more involved. And so they said they were going to try to introduce more adult education programs, even some of the adult entertainment and all the things that you can do to get them involved in more.
Lasers in the Matrix.
And because we have these communities, You hear me?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, you
Come
back
on.
now.
You got me. I'm sitting on the end of the seat. Let's go. Edge of my seat. Come on.
Yeah. So by turning these problems, because again, remember, in situations where we have a large renter class, they're not paying property. When you're not paying property, it's less likely for you to get involved in the school because your tax dollar is not going to the school. Whereas, like say in Long Island or some places in Jersey and some of the more suburb areas where the property taxes are going to the school. So therefore, the parents in their mind don't have ownership in the schools. And I think programs like your sister is trying to teach people not only to get what they should get, but also I think teaching the families to have ownership in their neighborhoods and their schools, even if if they don't own their homes, which I think is a whole nother conversation and another problem that we have to fix. We have to build up home ownership in the African American community.
Yes.
But now that we've moved into this space, I think programs like yours is going to move us in a direction and taking responsibility for their schools. Like those are the biggest business in the community. And if we can coagulate and we get those schools together, you're talking a budget of between $4 and $7 million a year per school. If you can put that money together and pool those resources for the schools as opposed to separating them, you can actually make moves to change the community.
You know something? We really have to get involved. That's all I can say. Yeah. We have to really.
It's really about. Yeah, I'm sorry, Maria. It's
that's
really,
okay.
And it's the sad part, and I think that's why God puts us in certain places. You know, because I experience it here at the center when you get a child that misbehaves. Not every child is bad, and I say that in every parent orientation I have. Every child is not bad. They're creative kids. Some kids are not even meant to sit in a structured classroom.
Right.
And, some parents are afraid. No, I'm not going to talk about that. No, come to me. Let me know what's going on with your child so I can better help you, give you a suggestion on what you should do, because the other folks are getting it all. And our children are entitled to it too.
Right.
And then we talk about, because Grosvenor House is in an inner city community. The projects is right across the street. But then you see all the other parents, and I'll say this because the comment was in the chat, the Russians. Actually, before I left the school that I was working in, you can see how they were doing the transition or making sure that all their little children got everything. And they were phasing out the other children, the Black and brown children. They made sure that they had seats on the PTA. They made sure that they had jobs in the office. I mean, you can actually see the change, and the principal let it happen because she needed the numbers for her school.
Wow. She needed the numbers, but the numbers that she got was blocking out the Black and brown children's opportunities.
Who really needed it.
Wow.
So we're dealing with a lot. And as far as charter school, I know everyone is not on board with it. My kids didn't go to public school. They went to Catholic school because I didn't believe in the public school system by the time they were of age. However, if charter school was around when they were younger, they definitely would have went to charter school. But the unfairness of it that I see is that they are in the public school buildings, and the children who don't get into the charter school are in the public school side, and it's like almost standing in the middle of 96th Street.
Segregation.
Yes, exactly. So what does that do to the children who are not in the charter school? That they don't have self-esteem. They don't know why my floor is not painted bright and beautiful, and this side of the building is.
Yes.
Now there is some funding that goes to charter school from public school. They don't get everything, but the beauty of the charter school is that they get to fundraise, which brings more stuff that they're able to offer to their children. Harlem Children's Zone, through the roof. I mean, I gotta hand it to him. He everywhere you go, you got Harlem Children's Zone.
Jeffrey Canada,
and they're
right?
giving stipend.
That's Jeffrey Canada, right?
Yes. I think he's the one that kind of kicked it off, and then the other lady was Success Academy. It's not a bad thing. but it's bad when all the children can't be privy to it. And that's the issue that I have with the charter schools.
Tashana, but when Peyton was having all those problems, remember we talked, they didn't specialize in wraparound services. Their thing is they want kids they just good. And all the kids.
Okay, now they're independent schools, like the school that she was in. That the school she was in is sort of a Christian charter school.
And also,
Is that Lays?
Dennis
McKee's, you about to say.
Wait, you frozen, Lays. Go ahead.
Yeah, Lays, you choppy.
If I could interject here, because I got a conference call about.
Yeah, go ahead, Al. Go ahead.
Who's that? Oh, Al.
Hey, look,
hey, Al.
Hip Hop Boulevard House. What's up, Al?
I'll tell you something that, Maria, that you may not know about me. When I was raising my kids, I got into a situation where I became part of the school board. So I was vice president and president of the school board for District 11 in the Bronx. And it gave me a very good perspective as to exactly how the schools are run. Because I did a lot. I shook up the school board in that district. And they didn't know how to handle me and all that, but they told me, dog, I want to bring you to the movie Ants. Remember the animated movie Ants?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
Ants, yeah.
So I want you to understand something. The school system was never made for us, but it was a forced situation to make it for us. So there's two systems that are in the school system.
Right.
One system for those people to make money, how to make money, how to keep money, and how to do it. They start them off. That's why you got the Princeton, the Yale, and the Harvard. That's what you got. And then the other system for the people to work for the people who make the money. And that's the system that they built. So when we have vocational schools, when they have schools to teach you how to fix cars, to teach you how to be a plumber, to teach you how to be an electrician, and all that stuff, they quickly started to find out that these unions and these careers that they're having, these guys are really making money. And they faded them out.
You right.
You have to look at the system from a bigger picture. They're always going to say, we need people to work for us. We can't teach them what we know because we want them to work for us. We got to teach them to be good employees and to learn enough skills to be able to do the work we give them to do, but not the key to making money. Because all them schools that I mentioned teach them how to make money. They teach them how to. I want you to learn how to do a startup business. How much are you going to spend? What's going to be your overhead? How many employees you're going to have? All this stuff. Where you're going to do it at? They teach them that from the very beginning that they come in as a sophomore until they graduate. And when they graduate, they put them in a fraternity and all that stuff. So that way, now your fraternity brothers are going to watch out for you. So that way, you're kind of guaranteed you're going to make six figures. It is a totally different thing. And I hear everybody talking about everything about the school system and all that stuff. But understand, they want worker bees. And the public school system and all that has always been that way. And every 4 years, they change it up. So you can't get the gist of what's happening because now, we're going to change it now.
Right.
Every 4 years, it changes. Why is that? You got to look at the bigger picture. We have to take the pages from Harvard, Princeton, and all that stuff, and we got to start applying that in our school system so we can have more statistical. What's happening is that we have sometimes you have a person that just busts out. There's no holding him back. He's gonna bust out or whatever the situation is.
Right.
That's what happens. That's why we have the JVs of the world. That's why we had those guys who made FUBU. That's why, but even when they see that, they get nervous. This is a bigger situation than what we're talking about because it is controlled. Because they say these guys, they make something out of nothing, and we don't give them anything to make it with.
Right.
And when I say these guys, people of color.
Yeah, you're right. And then when
they can't figure it out.
And then when we not behold. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
They put everything in front of us to stop us. Stop us every kind of way. And they give us things to keep us busy to look the other way than to look at the real issues and all that.
Let me tell you. Go ahead, Al. When you finish, I want to say this.
I'm so passionate about this whole thing. That's why I started this company, Hip Hop Boulevard, because I said there's billions of dollars in hip hop and it's not being funneled
at all
to the community that's
at all.
Right. So we have to change that.
We do. I agree.
So we have the power. We have the power to change it. So look at what happened to me. Just last week, I had a meeting with Guns Down Life Up. Their organization attached to something.
Yes, I know them.
Okay, so I'm talking to James, and I said, James, I'm doing this, and I said, bro, I've been hearing about the organization. I want to partner up. I said, well, how is that going to work? He said, I do internships for kids. I pay them to go and do an intern someplace. And I told Rock, I said, Rock, will you like an intern for the studio and all that? I said, hell yeah. Will you teach them how to do a podcast or build a podcast?
Yes.
All that kind of, hell yeah. I said, so I said, I came back to James and said, James, I got plenty of work for these kids.
Yes.
You pay them, and I'll put them in positions where they can learn a skill and build them. Because see, idle hands gets people in trouble.
Right. What they say, idle mind is the devil's playground.
Yeah, right.
There you go.
And that's true. And we have to.
I want to add a couple of things to Brother Al. What he's saying is so correct. The system is not set up for school, for children to be successful. I'm actually doing, and it's funny that he talks about Harvard, because I've been up to Harvard. Rock knows this. For the last couple of months, I've been up in Harvard doing a project. And I sat down and talked to a lot of the professors at Harvard and some of the big guys at Harvard, and it's true. They are about creating systems. So my answer to Brother Al and everybody else that's trying to create these systems is we're going to have to sort of infect it from the inside. We have to now create these landing strips.
Mm-hmm.
The more landing strips we create, then we can actually infect the system inside, because obviously if we allow them to see us coming, they're going to do everything to shut us down.
Absolutely.
They're going to block. They're going to block, because that's what they're set up to do. Remember, this is going back to Rockefellers and the Astors. They wanted to set up a worker class. This is exactly what it is. Unfortunately, African Americans in this country are no longer the worker class.
No, you
remember that?
Yes. Yes.
There's somebody different now. Now it's different. Now it's the Indians, it's the Koreans,
the Mexicans,
the Chinese,
honey, the Mexicans,
the Dominicans, the African Americans are no longer the worker class.
Yeah.
The brother Al is right on this. It's just that now I think one of the remedies is to create these landing strips, because remember, we're still 12% of the population, but we are 1.1 million students in New York City schools that are reading at a 30% proficiency rate.
Absolutely.
These are
absolutely
facts. Now that means 700 and something thousand kids ain't reading.
Facts
here. You know what I'm saying? So at this point, it's no longer, yes, they're trying to stop us, but we actually have to take responsibility and don't make excuses for not doing what we need to do to make sure that we get our kids reading and writing and learning on a level that we can compete in the world. Yes, they're going to try to stop us, but listen, we're fighting back. The largest group of people that are making the most money, the most educated right now, are African American women. Y'all are killing it right now.
Right.
So y'all going to lead the way. Yes, we can focus on. There are levels of our children right now that aren't doing well in the inner cities in some areas, but there are levels where we are doing well. So we need to maybe try to go to and utilize some of the tools and resources and practices and share those practices that are working for the communities, as opposed to, because ultimately, yes, we're going to go out there, we can go at the top. But remember, if I got the power and I'm afraid of you, I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure you don't get the power.
Right.
So the only way you're going to get the power from me is if I don't know you're trying to get it. So you got to find a way to get these kids moving. I mean, strategically, we have to be. So now we have to be strategic. I watch people. I watch the marches. I've been watching for years. And I was like, how are we going to make it work? Well, when we talked about Harlem Charter, they got millions and millions of dollars from donors, right? And trust me, Dennis McKeezy is my right hand man, so I know the whole story.
We have to interview
they
Dennis.
Graduated their kids at a 99% proficiency rate, almost 100%. Because they were able to get the money. If you ain't got no money, how you gonna take care of these kids?
Absolutely.
So we're gonna keep running on the treadmill. We're gonna keep bumping our heads unless we sit down and strategically make moves. Not going, sir, help us out, give us something, because they're not gonna give us anything. Ain't no way I'm gonna take the handle and say, here, you take the handle, and I'm gonna take the blade.
Right.
No, you're gonna have to go in there. We're gonna have to be strategic because let me tell you something. On a positive note, in spite of this, we are still one of the fastest growing. And if you took African Americans out of this country, we'd be the 10th largest nation on the planet as far as $1.4 trillion in resources in the African American community. That means we have the ability to do it. We just have to share the practices so that we can bring everybody aboard.
You know, it's so deep. I want to say, remember when Black Panther came out and they thought the movie was only going to make $2? And that movie wound up transcending all we celebrating Shoshana on May 21st. Okay. What?
And that movie wound up.
We heard me. That I just played. That you had the phone on or something. Maybe, so anyway, remember the black sending all of me.
Yep, that's me.
Oh, so in the Black Panther, that movement was so powerful to me. You know why? All of a sudden, everybody started wearing dashikis. Yeah. Everybody they just thought it as something animated and something Wakanda don't. I don't care if Wakanda don't exist. Mm-hmm. It brought a spirit in our people. Yeah. People started wearing their black leather jackets, going to Wakanda parties. Yeah. Why can't we get that? And then it died down because Black Panther, but it lasted for so long. I was going to state to watch the Black Panther. Yeah. And not because some of it is fiction, but that it is the truth. Africa, the motherland, had the most riches in the world. Mm-hmm. And is the first country.
It still does.
It still does.
Yeah.
Right. And it was the first country. Africa was first, and then everything broke off from Africa. Right. And so, you know, when people was a part of that movement, they really didn't understand the history. Wakanda is that's who we really are.
If you saw Wakanda for what it was like, this is what Africa would have been today had slavery not taken place.
Absolutely.
Or colonialism hadn't taken place.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's kind of what I got from it. It was like, okay, in an alternate reality where there was no slavery or colonialism, this is what Africa would be. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I got from that totally. Absolutely.
And then we had the backbiting because what's his name? Michael B. Jordan. Mm. He was the crab in the barrel.
Right.
You know, he angry because his father was a traitor, but they killed his father and they shouldn't. But
I didn't see him as a crab in a barrel. He just he was coming from another perspective because of his environment.
And his father.
Yeah, but even with the fighting amongst the African tribes, some of them were hateful. Like y'all been the number one for too long. I want to challenge you.
It was the whole thing.
Right. So why can't we not have to challenge each other? Why can't we all exist in the same? Everybody can't be a chief, and you can't run a country without the Indians either. So why can't we all come together for the betterment of our entire community?
Maria, I'm gonna answer that right now. It's because
introduce yourself so they know who's talking.
Is that Nikki Sunshine?
Movements. Yeah. We had the Black Panther movement, and the FBI broke that up.
Yes.
We had Marcus Garvey, and the government and their agents
always
plant some type of insert themselves to destroy us. The same thing with the Nation of Islam. If it's a powerful voice, they want to discredit you because everything leads back to them needing Black people to be the underclass. They have to feed off of us to be profitable. It makes no sense why we can't be educated in this country as much money as we have. It makes no sense that funding for education will go off of property taxes. And I live in Nassau County, even in Hempstead, where the property taxes are like $14,000 and $15,000. The schools are still messed up. They don't want us to thrive. They need us to be at the bottom. That's the only explanation. And Maria Davis, if you rose up to have 1 million different followers and Black people were really starting to listen to you, they would try to mess that.
That's Baby J in the background. Did he mute you, Nikki, the baby?
let me say something here.
I want to close with something so I can leave. If I could just say this, I'm gonna leave.
Okay, yeah, I want to say something after.
I saw a documentation that somebody had to show me and told me, I'm going to show you something now that you may not know. The Puerto Rican people was being watched as far as the most Hispanic people in the country, and the population was growing and growing and growing. They did a research saying that if the Hispanic people went and fought for something, like they really said, we're not gonna have it no more, okay? That this is the one race that you gotta watch out for, but they would do it. And then what happened was, remember when there was no food and all that stuff was crazy in PR?
Yeah.
Right.
Remember when they all marched up to the governor's house and all that stuff?
Yes.
I saw that document 8 years ago. That thing just happened a couple of years ago.
Got you.
Just to tell you that. I gotta go.
All right, I'll talk to you.
Tomorrow, he's honoring me. Al, you didn't even talk about honoring me tomorrow.
Yeah, boo, Al.
Yo.
Tomorrow, big brother, big sister, we're in the house. Maria Davis, Deborah Harris, Ralph McDaniel, Christopher Edmonds, and a slew of other people. We gotta honor our people. We gotta push them. We gotta let them know we support you and all that stuff. That way they can keep doing what they're doing, and we gotta let people know who they are. That's the deal.
That's the bet.
And I can't get Lays to go because Lays don't go out past 7 o'clock.
What time is the event?
What time is the event?
What time is the event, Al?
I like to be in early. I'm an early bird.
5 to 9:30.
5 to 9:30, Lays. You can come at least for an hour while they honor me.
Yeah, I can come.
Okay.
And listen, look for me. But first of all, let me congratulate Brother Al for all the work that he's doing. He is a stalwart warrior in this fight. And he's in the struggle for real on a daily basis. I want to I don't know if he's gone yet, but let me give him his props because he deserves every bit of it. Let me speak to a couple things that we were talking about. We were talking about the African American community and what's happening. So let me just give some. I like to give facts, right? So the largest median average of like salaries per household now is no longer white people. It's the Chinese. The Chinese people are making all the money. So now let me give you perspective. In my perspective, I believe that the white people's fear of the African American, the guilt factor, has caused them to in so many ways miscalculate. And had white Americans, because yes, we are African, but at the end of the day, we do not have. In other words, I'm African. I did my DNA. I got people in West Africa. I got people down in South. I got people in Senegal, all the way, whatever. So we're a little bit of a mixed up people. We're sort of a hybrid.
Right.
And we all survived. That's why we are so resilient as people, because what we had to survive through slavery was so powerful that even enslaving people, someone did they wrote a paper on how slavery in the United States was worse than almost any other slave condition ever in history. It was so it was such a brutality. It was brutal, right? So, but let me just say this: the miscalculation by white America is that had they aligned themselves with the descendants of the African slave and treated them humanely, and not did all these things like redlining and giving themselves a head start and letting foreigners come over here and take the country away from them, they would have saved the country. But they've lost America. They've lost America to the Asians. They've lost America to Europe.
Yes.
And It's being underwritten because white Americans no longer. Let me just say that. Secondly, let me just say that there is ways that we can do it if we stop looking for them to help us. At the end of the day, we do have the ability to do what we have to do, but it seems as if we're always waiting for. It's almost like we're sort of stepchildren to white people, where we're looking for white people to approve our existence.
Right.
On this
Throw a clap on for that,
and
please.
it's almost even if you look at if you look at some of the African or even the Black artists, we don't accept our success or our talent until white people say we're good.
Lays, before you finish, I want to read. Lays, wait, hold on. I want to read you this.
At some point, we're going to have to realize.
He can't hear me. Lays, you hear me?
Lays, you hear Maria? Yeah, he does now.
Lays.
Yes, I hear you.
Wait, I want to read this. So I want you, I don't think you were here when I read this. So Governor Kathy Hochul today announced $2.6 million in funding provided by FY 2023 enacted budget to support the Holocaust survivors initiative. This funding, to be administered by New York State Office for Aging, will be used to increase access to healthcare related services provided by community-based organizations for those who suffered in the Holocaust. Survivors of the Holocaust endured tragedy beyond the imagination of the average person. We owe them a lifetime of care, and with this funding, we can ensure they receive just that. Governor Hochul said, in New York, we will never forget, and we will do everything possible to honor the memory of the millions of lives lost and ensure survivors will always be safe, protected, and supported. Today, we are reaffirming our commitment to supporting survivors as our duty, and this funding will serve to widening access to services and lift them out of poverty. Go on, Lays, answer.
That's not surprising. One, it's not surprising.
Horrific. They endured horrific.
Well, they did. And they did, but I'm not making an A. This is not what about is. I'm not making an A/B comparison to the passage, the millions of African Americans, and then the work that we did to build this country. This is things that we can't forget. But one thing they did also, they advocated and lobbied for their people. That didn't just come out of the blue. Governor Hochul did not get up one day and say, "I'm just going to make this proclamation." There is a level of advocacy that the Jewish community does for their people that we have to understand, whether we like it or not. It is a reality. And if we would advocate of the same ferocity and the same attention to detail for our people, then a lot of things would be different in our community. But it seems as if once one of our people get in position, we start advocating through the lens of white America. We have to stop advocating through the lens of white America.
On that.
Start advocating through our own lens.
Yeah.
He preaching.
Yeah. And I don't want to put this brother on spotlight, but you know what happened to Brian Benjamin. Lays.
What happened to Brian Benjamin? Tell me.
Well, you know, they just put another thing out, so he is going to help them remove him off the ballot because that seems to be the biggest problem now. But
I know, yeah.
I don't understand why we need to do what the other people do. Why we just can't do right for us and our people? Why do we have to get caught up in being, you one of the second powerful persons in the New York State. You should have known they was going to gun for you. You got Obama, perfect example, Obama. Thank God he was never caught in no kind of...
No bullshit.
Oh, my gosh. You know what that would have been? And this is the kind of lens, I don't understand why our leadership can't see in those same lenses. That we have to be better. It's unfortunate.
He says he's innocent.
I'm
sure he is innocent. But guess what? He got caught.
So Maria, let me just say this. Let me just say this to you, Maria. Here's what I think, and I keep saying this over and over again. We always seem to plan in the open. I've never seen a community of people. We are caring, loving people. I was in a conversation with Brother Dane Dash, and we did an interview, and he talked about how we wouldn't do certain things for people because we are naturally caring and loving people. And that's why it was so easy for them to trick us into believing that they would take care of us. But at this point in our life, we realize that they have no intention of taking care of us. And we have to take care of ourselves and advocate for ourselves. And it doesn't mean advocating at their leisure. So in this situation, obviously, somebody was gunning for Brian Benjamin, and he got caught up, whether he was innocent or not, because all these politicians have dirt on him.
Absolutely.
But whatever he got caught doing at this point in his career was saying it was time for him to go. Again, still advocating and not coalescing and having the Black power base behind him to make sure that if they went after him, that he had people that could stand up for him. But when it's easy, if you can isolate a man, I'm just using him as one example. But that example goes over and over and over again. Obama was different. Obama had a very highly powered Jewish advocate behind him named George Soros. So when George Soros was able to fund and empower Barack Obama, he didn't have we had Black people who loved Barack Obama, but we ain't had the Black people advocate for Barack Obama.
No.
But here's what happened. But Barack Obama's had the leftist liberal Jewish community advocating and then funding behind him, so that he wasn't going to go nowhere. And trust me, they tried to get him on multiple occasions, and there were things in Barack Obama's closet, as you could say, that could have gotten him. You know what I'm saying? But they weren't able to get him. This man, the lieutenant governor, is out on an island by himself because he did not utilize the power of the African American community to advocate for him. That's exactly what happened. That's why he's out on the island by himself now.
Yep, absolutely. Because this is another problem too.
Yes, tell the truth.
Yeah, right, tell the truth, shame the done. I love it, Lays. But the biggest problem is when you get in that position, then you don't feel you need the African American community no more.
Well,
but the African American community put you there. But not so it's very unfortunate because you didn't hear no voice saying that, oh, I'm behind Brian. Nobody is saying they behind him. So that shows you that you really did not have the African American community. Because he the only one saying he innocent. Ain't nobody, and hey, besides Hazel Dukes, nobody else is saying that he's innocent.
I saw Claudia on Mi Gente Mi People with you saying, well, I'll put money on his commissary.
Claudia is funny as heck. But Lays,
19,000 African American men in this country, 25,000 African American women. African American women are the largest population, getting more and more powerful as we continue to grow. If you would be a fool, a damn fool at that, if you do not utilize the power of the African American community. That means you have to go back into the community and then strengthen the community from the inside. If you don't advocate to strengthen the community from the inside, then the community will abandon you as you have abandoned them. And that's exactly what's happening.
And you know, Lays, I got a new movement that I'm starting called Beyond the Vote. I know I am the vote, but I'm starting this movement behind the vote, and especially because of all of this the stuff that's happening right now. So you know, the Republicans complained about the line drawing. This actually the electric district line drawing. So it got thrown out.
Redistricting. Let me just explain something to you. You can tell me all day what the Republicans, the GOP is complaining about, but the GOP have one thing: white power. They want to keep white power in the country.
Yes,
and they want to hold on to white power. They can talk about anything they want to complain about, but that is the subtext behind any complaint, any issue, anything they have is white power.
Right.
The worst thing that could happen in the Republican community right now is if Joe Biden dies. Because then they would have an African American woman, a Jamaican African woman of Indian descent that would be the president of the United States. That's the worst thing that could happen for them. They do not want that to happen. Mm-hmm. And so there's no argument that you can give, the GOP can give us, because they've talked both sides of their faces so many different times.
Right.
And they're nothing but the old Democratic Party from the slave days and from the segregation and from Jim Crow and all that. These are all the same people. And the descendants of the same people, from Mitch McConnell to Lindsey Graham and all the wackos to Ted Cruz and all the wackos. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, there's one common thing that keeps them all in line. That is maintaining white power. Ultimately, the African American community, we can say Black power without saying it. Yes, we talked about the Black Panthers. Yes, they did great things. They fed the schools. But the problem with the Black Panthers, for the most part, sometimes they were a little too loud. They did not coalesce in the dark. These white people are coalescing and they are planning in the dark.
Yes, they.
So
hit that
Joe
thing.
Joe Biden and Mitch McConnell to me are the same person. At the end of the day, him and Donald Trump are the same person. Just because he says he doesn't know what it means to be black. Of course you don't know what it means to be black, Joe Biden, because you were advocating against black people your entire career.
Mm-hmm.
Just because you turn around and say it now, you got a South Carolina governor, that Carolina House Representative that actually helped you win the presidency.
Absolutely.
Donald Trump would have had a second term. But that's not here or there. But at the end of the day, what we have to understand as people, that if we're going to coalesce, if we're going to plan, we're going to have to get off the bullhorn and stop asking white America, the white power structure. I'm not talking about Pizza Joe, the guy, the plumber. I'm not talking about that guy. I'm talking about the white power structure in this country. Is it okay if I do this way? Is it okay if I protest? We have to stop doing that, because we're asking somebody who hates us to give us something. What we have to do now is say, let us sit down together as a community and gain power, get the bag, get the money, reinvest in the community, and build our communities up so that they're so strong that you can't get in there. Because ultimately, white people are playing a game with us, where they're even coming back into our communities and building the community for them and kicking us out of our own community.
Absolutely.
At this point, it's almost a joke.
Wait a minute, ladies.
Just in the chat room real quick, Robin says they bombed the churches in the 60s because they wanted to keep the community leaders from holding meetings there, which is true. Absolutely.
Time check,
Okay.
7-Eleven.
And also the black church also sold to the government as well. We know what happened with the black church. They sold out to the government as well. At the end of the day, the church, with all due respect, the church is not the biggest institution. Even now, the church has advocated their responsibility. And ultimately, I do believe that if we want to use something in power, we have to use community and maybe even the schools. But I definitely know that the church did not do what they were supposed to do for the African American community. And I'm not trying to put anybody on blast. It is what it is.
I hit him with that.
I want to argue that point a little bit.
There you go. Go ahead. Because I know. Go ahead.
Oh, Lord.
That's the only church in Harlem, Maria. That's the only church in Harlem that's doing it.
I ain't going to say FCBC. But
First Baptist Lutheran Church.
But I do want to say, though, in the beginning of slavery, when they were bringing us over here, so I'm sure it's going to be, because you're going to say it's been two different churches. That's where we used to meet to strategize.
Right.
For the white man not to, that's how the Underground Railroad with Harriet Tubman and all of them. So you're talking about the newer churches, or you talking about when the slaves used to use their church to organize and decide how they were going to move black folks out of certain areas and in certain areas and get them to freedom. So are we talking about that church, or are we talking about the
government? The government gave money to the churches in the United States in the 60s and 70s.
Okay. So yeah, you're talking about the new church. Okay.
I can only tell you what I know. And I can tell you that the churches, in order to get these subsidized, tax-free, and all the other things you get from the government, they allowed that the government to sort of control their messaging, and now they use it as a place to corral, and it's almost holding pens for black people. At the end of the day, that's why, and I'm not even saying that I agree with Louis Farrakhan or those churches, because they have things I agree with, things I disagree with. But at the end of the day, I don't think the church is there to help the community anymore. I think the church is there to as holding and staging places to hold themselves, and which is fine. We have to find some other ways outside of the church, because we've been in this church for 250, 300 years, and we are still seeming to be in the same position as we was in those days. So obviously, without my opinion, the churches we have still not grown as a community outside. Now, the Jewish churches, the synagogues, or the Catholic churches, if you have any situation that goes down with a Jewish person or even a Catholic church, the Jewish community will be in City Hall having a quiet private meeting with the mayor. They'll sit down with Eric Adams and they will get laws changed. The Catholic church, the same exact way. The African American church does not seem to have that power. So I don't know what churches are making it work for us, but the work is not outside. It's not singing. Yes, we can sing and praise all day. You know me, I love to sing and praise. But at the end of the day, to have that political power, we need real leadership in the church to sort of change that move, and it has not happened in our community. More holding pens, and I'm sorry to say that, but I'm just being honest.
Okay, so this is 7-Eleven. I know.
Yeah, this was another good one.
Yeah. And I was kind of nervous because Aisha left. She had to come off because it was Eve's. But this wound up being like, So we gotta do this again.
Listen,
yeah.
Let me go, and I apologize for monopolizing the time. I'm sorry.
You never monopolize. You the other host.
It was a great conversation,
people, we need to change our flyer to hosted by Maria Davis, DENEEN, WOMACK, and Lays Elliott. That's what I'm gonna start changing my wording to.
Photoshop him in the flyer.
Lays, I want to see. Can we get? I'm gonna call Dennis because now I got Dennis McKeezy's number myself.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna call him and see if I can get him to come on next week. Because I would like to get his perspective on, as a principal, as a black man, because we don't have many black men principals, his perspective on the movement, our education, and how do we move forward as a community to really rise up our future, but also be impactful. Even, I don't care if you're 70 years old, how can you still be impactful at 70? Mm-hmm. And how can we, what is our responsibility for us to be able to make sure that the Dennis McKeezy and all these principals that are doing great work and trying to save our children, how do we then become a part of the conversation?
Yeah.
And how do we get our...
A couple things about Dennis. Dennis, he would love to come on. Dennis, of course, he was part of the Harlem Charter. He was with Jeffrey Kent, whatever
Canada.
His name is, and they did some great work for the Harlem Charter. And he is a brilliant. He's now Dr. Dennis McKeezy because he just got his doctorate a couple of weeks ago. Mm-hmm. So shout out to Dr. Dennis McKeezy. And let me just say this again. Maybe call him anyway, but maybe Monday may be bad for him because his mother just passed away last week, and he's burying his mother over the weekend. But God bless her soul. So we're gonna bury his mom this next week. But please call him because he would love to have these conversations. And let me tell you something: when it comes to education, he knows way more than me. He is a complete general, and he is definitely one of the most brilliant men I've known. I got to give him his props, and Rock will vouch for him. So please, you would do yourself an honor and a service by having Dennis McKeezy coming out here and talking.
And you know who I would like to put on together? Dennis McKeezy and Jamal Joseph.
Okay.
From the Black Panthers. He was an original Black Panther. Went to jail, light skin, who has the impact with all the young people that travel all over the world. Some of them are actors and actresses, and they're doing a great job. I would like to have both of them
That combination.
Yeah, that combination, because he has a book out called Panther Baby, and just a mover in our community. And so I think I would like to have Dennis. Oh, that might be too much, though. That might be too much heat on
We'll be on for 5 hours.
Yeah.
That might be a lot of heat.
We gotta make sure.
Anyway, thank you, Maria. I gotta
Thank
go.
you, Lays. Lays tomorrow.
All right. Send me the information. Thank you very much. Have a good night, everybody.
Okay, you love
I
you.
hope I wasn't too long-winded.
No, you're not. Never too long-winded.
And big shout out, just little things that's kind of going on tonight. I'll be on Lenny Green's show at about 10:15 to 10:30, and we're gonna be talking about
kissing after dark.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about the we're gonna talk about the relationships. So we did like a little pre-recorded thing already. So Let
me try to get Lenny Green on ours about relationships.
yeah.
I used to be on his show all the time.
Yeah, he was on the show all the time. I remember that.
Coach Trey and Lenny Green.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm going to do that from 10:15 to 10:30. Doing that tonight.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Let me tell you something. This has been, oh my gosh. I'm telling you, in my head, I was like, oh my gosh. Aisha say, Cool's leaving early. What we going to do? And we just did it.
It just did it.
Do what we do.
And we need to interview again Nikki. We need to interview
Nikki Sunshine.
Yeah, we need to interview Miss Baps also, and her different
McGee.
Oh, McGee, who was on,
McGee, 28 council precinct. And I would like to, I'm going to see if I can get Deputy Inspector Obey. She was like, she was the chief head at 28th precinct, I mean, when she was there, we did so many health fairs, and every man that came after her, they not doing work. I'm gonna see if I can get Obey to interview too.
Okay, let's do it.
Yeah, because we gotta talk about more solutions. You know, we can't just go to work and go home and just keep ourselves in a bubble.
And keep talking about the problems.
And keep talking about the problems, but ain't out there doing, like, to me, okay, mammogram stopped. We didn't have the mammogram van for 2 years. So May 1st, I made sure the mammogram van was in front of First Corinthian Baptist Church.
Yeah.
And so people loved that. People were coming up. One lady in particular, I had 2 ladies yesterday. One of the ladies was like, I worked for the MTA for 20 years. I got injured on the job. I had to stop working. They cut off my insurance. I had Aetna. Now I don't have no insurance. Got on Medicaid. I said, but what, you're an MT worker, what about the benefits? She said, you good when you're well, but when you get sick, you ain't good no more.
Yeah.
So she said, I said, go on up in there and get your little mammogram. At least that's one off your checklist. So she applied for Medicaid. They gave her Medicaid for a month, and now she's off again. So she said, she called them up, and they was like, oh, you have to reapply again. She's like, why do I have to reapply? I have to go to the doctor. I need to get all pap smears. I need to get all these different things, and I can't do nothing.
Yeah, I got stuff to do.
And she said she went to City MD. She was sick. They wouldn't even see her unless she made a payment.
Yeah.
And then I had another lady come up, and she was like, oh, I haven't had a mammogram in almost 8 years. Why is that? Because it was very painful. So I said, but you know what's more painful? If they tell you have breast cancer, that's even more painful.
Yeah, it really hurts.
So she said, oh, I said, please go up in the van and talk to them. She wound up getting the mammogram and came back and said, you know what? That was not bad at all. They're different from the other people. You cannot judge a bad experience every time
and make
you
it
go
all the same
and
thing.
make it all the same thing. And she was so happy. Then this another one had a not transgender. She was a female male. So she didn't have no sex change and nothing, but I guess they say, I don't want to say dykes, but they were the more masculine looking female.
Okay, so this was a woman who was technically the dominant in a lesbian relationship.
Right.
Okay.
So she was like standing around the van. I was like, why is she standing around the van? And she was like, why is she standing around the van? Y'all funny. Why is she standing around the van? She wanted a mammogram.
Yeah, well, she got boobies too.
So I helped her. I said, do you want to get a mammogram? She said, yes, I need one very badly. I said, go on up in there, because they were taking walk-ins.
Right.
We had a lot of walk-ins yesterday. And I said, go on up in there. And she felt so relieved. Mm-hmm. And so I don't care if you got boobs, even men. I had to say to a guy yesterday, I said, you want a mammogram? He's like, mammogram, what? I said, do you know Richard Roundtree had double breast cancer? And he was like, no, get out of here. Men can get breast cancer too.
Yeah.
But there's a special referral that has to be done in the hospital. They don't do men. They don't give men mammograms on the truck. But there are ways that they give men, have them mammogram. Yeah. So I was very excited about yesterday. AIDS walk. We're going to walk on Sunday, May 15th. Don't forget, if you want to walk with me, just please call me up, 646-305.
Yeah, you got to tell people it's 6.2 miles. You can't just say, come walk.
Why? I don't know why 6.2 miles got to be the problem.
It just needs to be addressed. That's all. Just how long are we walking? 6.2 miles, which isn't bad. It's not a bad walk.
No, it's not. I mean, my feet be hurting afterwards, and I got to lay down for the rest of the day. But I do it because
you're going to get a bunch of people that's going to drop out after 3 blocks. That's why you got to tell them.
Well, listen, if they raise money, I ain't going to feel bad. So you could be a virtual walker, too. You can get a sponsorship paper and ask people for donations, and you could still register as a walker and donate money, and you'll be a virtual walker.
Nice.
So I hope that if you want to walk with me, Matt at First Corinthian Baptist Church.
I'm walking.
Yes, DENEEN is Mad Soul Runners on team number 5512. If you call me up, get in contact with me, I can sign you up. But if you like to be a virtual walker and just raise money, I would appreciate that too. And don't forget, here every Monday, Can't Be Silenced podcast. We always go over our time. It's like not enough time to talk about deep situations.
Sometimes it becomes that, and you gotta let it ride.
Akila's talking about make this 2 hours. We've been on for
We've been on for over 2 hours.
Akila's been 2.5 hours now.
So, I'm just appreciative that everybody comes on. Nikki, thank you for your support. Tashana, Lynette, Deneen, I see you up there. Hi, Lynette.
Hi, Lynette.
She's been on the whole time too.
Yeah,
she's been on the whole
and
time.
Shaka Pilgrim was on for a little while too.
Yeah.
I don't think Shaka's still up there. Daphne Bernard.
Robin's been rocking from YouTube, and she said, recruit all people named Walker for your for your thing.
Robin, where's my order for the African American expression, Robin? And Lynette, I'm gonna have to mail you your mat and your shower curtain.
I'm coming to get it. I'm gonna do the walk with you.
Oh, thank you, Lynette.
Tremendous.
I'm gonna register you. Thank you. So we thank you. And listen, I have to really start focusing more on my website and really bring in some. I took a networking class and really bringing some attention to my website for people to go on there. And I have to start reposting some more pictures of all the things that we're doing. And ROCKLOGIC, I appreciate you so much. I want to tell you that.
Thank you. All right, didn't see that coming. All right, thank you. Word. You're welcome.
And I'm
Always.
just thankful for everybody to support. And we just have to keep, getting the numbers up and getting the numbers. Sometimes I keep forgetting to promote, but I'm going to be more
active in that.
Active in doing that, and just be mindful to spread the word. Can't Be Silenced podcast with Maria Davis is on every Monday, 5 p.m. You don't know what you're gonna get.
You don't know when it's gonna end.
You don't know when. You don't know what you're gonna get, and you don't know when it's gonna end.
That is the damn
and Ginger
show,
Fisher Kemp also, who's on every week, and Angela Rooks, and everybody that really supports Can't Be Silenced podcast. Mad Wednesdays is going to be on Wednesday, May 18th. I'm hoping Deneen keeps saying last month was the last month. I hope I can get her to do my door one more time, because when she at the door,
Deneen, your money
people
be
can't
right.
listen. Right, the money be right, and she don't take no excuses from nobody.
Yeah, come on, Deneen. 18th gonna be big. That's big money that night. What we doing?
So I love each and every one of you. Please, you can continue to share the different podcast episodes. We're on Facebook. We stay on Facebook Live. You can tell people, they had a great conversation on May 2nd. Please go and view it. And we appreciate you. And happy birthday to Shauna Pace.
Yes, indeed. You can also see the reruns of the shows on YouTube at Boardwalk Global Media. All the shows are posted. We stream to Facebook and YouTube and Twitch. So the shows are up on Boardwalk Global Media if you want to see them, or you can see them on Maria's page on Facebook.
Subscribe.
And please, y'all, subscribe to Boardwalk Global Media on YouTube. All you got to do is go to YouTube, type in Boardwalk Global Media. You'll see the logo pop up, hit the subscribe button, and that is helpful, for the situation here at the
Do it now.
Station. And he's like,
and I also,
why is Rock paying for it? Robin's like, Rock's paying for it. And then Tasha says hello. She gives you.
Hi, Tasha. And my roses are still alive. How about that?
Yeah,
Her son gave me some beautiful roses. She came to Mad Wednesday. It was great to see Tasha. And we want to shout out the Comedy Club of Harlem at 508 East 117th Street.
Shout out to J-Star on Facebook.
J-Star. Oh, my God.
Didn't he just get married?
Yes, he just got married.
Congratulations.
He's supposed to be visiting Mad Wednesday. Maybe we can celebrate him at the day party, the spades competition, him and his wife.
Absolutely.
And we'll be celebrating Tashana's birthday also at our day party on May 21st. And the Comedy Club of Harlem is open how many times a week, Nikki? And I think they have a comedy lab too. I think on Tuesdays.
Tonight is the open mic. We have an open mic on Monday nights. It starts at 8, and then on Tuesday they have a show that's at 7. That's with seasoned comedians, and then we have shows Friday and Saturday. And we got something cooking. It's something that's coming up on Wednesday night. So I don't really want to misspeak, but we're trying to do a singers, like an open mic for singers.
Okay.
You remember how they used to do at the Village Underground?
Yeah.
Downtown with like Cheryl Pepsi Riley and stuff. We don't have anything in Harlem
and
like
Ron
that.
Grant.
So, yeah, exactly. We don't have anything in Harlem like that. So I'm working on something because sometimes people want a little bit more than comedy, or they want something different. So we want to be able to, get all types of entertainment up there. But when we have it popping, I'll let you know.
All right. Well,
thank you for supporting always, Maria. You know, you're my sister.
You're welcome. You know, you can't. I can't come on the third Wednesday because I got Mad Wednesday on the third Wednesday.
No, I know. I know, but I'll let you know.
All right. So y'all make sure y'all visit the Comedy of Harlem. Let me tell you, when we had the day party, we stayed afterwards. Rock, too bad you and Robin left. Yeah. And Lays and all of y'all. But some people stayed behind. We celebrated Keshonda's birthday and Lays' birthday. And they were so gracious. Kenny Williams, that was celebrating his anniversary, 30th anniversary. Shout out to Kenny Williams. And he allowed all of us to stay for the comedy show after. And Gerald Kelly and Nikki, what was the name of the bus driver?
That's OC, the bus driver. His real name is Derek Reed, but they call him OC, the bus driver.
And is he out of Baltimore?
No, he's from Queens.
He's from Queens. He is funny as telling all of them MTA stories. Girl, we was on and what was the host name? He was excellent too.
Oh, that was Rashad Bashir.
Yeah.
He does the show at Harlem Nights.
Oh, he was excellent. He was it was an excellent show. And you know, I told him, T.I., I need to come to your comedy
and
lab
and
get some tips. T.I., I need to come and get some tips.
Yeah.
Nigga getting booed out.
You know who was there? The guy, let me tell you who was there Saturday. The guy that played Eddie Murphy's son in Coming to America 2. He came through. Jermaine Fowler.
Oh, nice.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, he didn't perform. He just came out to support.
And let me tell you how deep Nikki is. I had ordered food for Lay's party, birthday, and Keshonda, because I want people to have a little something. And somebody didn't go and pick up the food. And Nikki was like, I'll go pick up the food for you. And that was the night, Kay Slay's funeral at the Apollo. And traffic was horrendous. And she went and got the food for me. And shout out to Nikki. Give her.
Shout out to Nikki. I give it a beat too.
We working.
I had to give it out.
You know what we doing.
And then you also have a pop-up on Juneteenth. Everybody doing something on June 18th. She also is doing a pop-up at her comedy in Harlem, too. So if you know any vendors that would like to participate, you can get in contact with Comedy in Harlem. I don't know if she have any more spaces left, but...
yeah, we got space left.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
So we love y'all. God bless you. And please check in next week, Monday, same bat station, same bat channel. Also visit www.can'tbesilence.org. Put a comment in the box. You can make a donation to Can't Be Silenced. And God bless you and thank you.